Hey everyone, welcome to the third annual Screen Heroes Awards. I am Rae. I am one of your usual hosts. I am joined by so many people today. So we're just going to go around in a little circle, tell us who you are and why you're here and what you're doing and all that good stuff. So, sir, you want to? Oh, okay. You? Do you want to go? Oh my God.
I'm trying to take a little sip of
We
water.
all drinking.
Alright, I am Ian. I am a part of Echo Station podcast, the newest podcast on the show. It's all about Star Wars. It's the best podcast on the show.
Well, yeah,
It's a show
considering
on
it's
the
just like
network.
the show and not the network. Yeah, it is the best Star Wars podcast that Ian does.
Yes, it is. And I'm also a co-host on Costume Couture with this lovely lady. That is me. And I also drink water very loudly, apparently. So get ready for that, folks.
Hi.
Is it my turn?
I think it's your turn.
Okay. So I am Casey. I actually am very new to your podcast network with a new anime series coming soon. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but it's going to be pretty bitchin'. You're going to want to listen to it. So,
And you're co-hosting that one with Rae.
yes, with Rae and Rob Fury. So, it's going to be, like I said, bitchin'.
And I am Derek. I co-host Screen Heroes here with Rae and Ryan, who will talk in a moment. I also co-host Red Shirts and Runabouts, which is the Star Trek show here on the network.
You guys already know who I am, obviously. My name is John, and
Everyone.
I have achieved the Gamer Heroes fame, top level. I am a master.
Top tier.
And yes, I have been paid quite well to be here today, so good to see you.
Yeah, John's making just as much as all of us tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Except a little bit more. Sir?
I'm Ryan. I do Screen Heroes with Derek and Rachel, and I'm a Sagittarius. I like long walks on the beach, and I'm taken, so don't get any ideas.
All right.
And I'm Thomas. I am new to the network. Recently took over Gamer Heroes from Derek and John. And I am one of 4 people on that show. And the first time I've met most of you guys. So.
That's right. I still don't know who he is.
Oh, well. you never will.
Were you listening? He just told
No,
you.
I was going, not even a little
Told
bit.
you.
Not even a little bit.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this momentous yearly occasion. It's slightly momentous. So,
Mostly yearly, though.
yeah, it's mostly yearly.
Annual. Yeah.
So let me just kind of explain. Every year we do a fake award show where we talk about our favorite content within the last year. Our year runs from November 1st to October 31st. So any content between November 1st, 2017 and October 31st, 2018 was up for contention. Here I and the rest of the group have been voting online to see which ones have been the fan favorites, but we're going to duke it out tonight and see if that's really true. If there's a category where we have nothing to talk about, which is very likely, we're just going to refer to the fan favorite and move on. But of course, our Twitch viewers can always jump in. We'll take your opinions as seriously as we usually do, and for our regular viewers, it's very seriously, and for the random trolls that pop in, it's not at all. So
I mean, everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion. It's fine.
Exactly.
That's true.
Should we get started? Are we doing this?
Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right,
Let's do
first
this.
category, best action film. Guys, our nominee is The Meg, Rampage, Mission Impossible, Fallout, Predator, and The Commuter. Anyone want to start us off? You want to vote for one of those?
Yeah.
Or- yeah?
So Henry Cavill Mustache is clearly going to win because it costed Warner Brothers $10 million, right? This is the reason. No, but that aside, it was actually a really good film, and I don't like Tom Cruise, but he was actually really good. And he did a really intense stunt in this movie where he did like a barrel roll in a helicopter. which was pretty intense. And Henry Cavill alone, his role was just
doesn't
sold the movie.
Fox McCloud do barrel rolls and
No,
things
this
like
is
all
Tom Cruise though.
Oh.
Yeah, on Earth.
Different.
Yeah, I was gonna
Crazy,
say.
you know.
No, Henry Cavill was the standout in that movie. He was awesome, and that mustache, boy, I was inspired.
It is the highest rated of the Mission Impossible films. Like, they just keep getting higher and higher ratings since the drop after 2, which is just crazy to me that these are massive blockbuster successes after where the first one started.
It's Simon Pegg, clearly. That's what
Right.
changed the
Right.
mix.
I would not be surprised. He is a delight.
He helped
know,
write
like-
this one.
Oh,
did he?
really?
Yeah, he has a writing credit for it.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Other movies, Rampage was fun. I'm not really sure it's the best action movie of the year, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool to just see giant monsters destroying a city while Dwayne Johnson runs around hurt. Like, you know, right?
Go ahead.
There's something to be said about a good popcorn movie. Just like,
Yeah.
especially like Rampage, I have not seen Rampage. But it seems like the kind of thing, like what I like to do with movies like that when they're just fun and I don't need to care about anything, is to half watch them. I put them on while I'm playing any game,
There you go.
so I can kind of enjoy it, but I like that because, I can just pop in at the perfect moments when it matters, and during the parts that maybe don't matter so much, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll go get a drink.
You didn't miss much. The plot's pretty
Right.
straightforward.
Yeah.
Right.
My man George, though,
It's based on the very complex video game franchise.
Right.
lots of source material. They did that world tour, so.
Right. Anybody want to throw anything else out there other than Mission Impossible Fallout?
I saw
like
not one
Predator.
of these movies.
Disappointed with the Predator, to be honest with you.
I like Predator.
Disappointed.
Yeah, but you like bad movies.
Let's hang on. Let's ask.
Gauntlet.
Shots fired.
I like lots of bad things. That's why I like you too.
What
So
did you
that's
like?
the point.
You're the one that said Iron Man 2 was your number one MCU
I
movie.
changed that though.
Oh my god.
all
I
right, hang on.
changed
Why?
it.
Hang on.
Why did you like
Let's
it?
first ask him an important question. Have you seen any of the other Predator films?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
You've seen all of them? Okay.
And you thought... Okay.
It's an
I didn't
important
say it was.
question.
Yeah, no, it's
I didn't say it was the best Predator movie. I just said it was a good movie.
Why did you like this film?
Defend your actions.
Appeal to the court.
I mean, I just thought it was a good, like you said, like a popcorn film. I thought it was just a great sci-fi action film. I thought it was kind of weird where like the Predator was hunting down the kid for that reason. I'm like, really? Y'all gonna okay? But Rampage was horrible.
It's hurtful.
That was
If Ian says it's horrible, it must be real bad.
George. No, that was ridiculous.
Joe Manganiello dies in 5 minutes.
Right? Yes.
That was
I did
hilarious.
not expect
Wasted
that.
Spoiler
him.
alert.
The Meg.
Right.
I don't like Tom Cruise, so I won't go see Mission Impossible.
Henry Cavill in a mustache. He's wearing the mustache.
You can see Justice League if you want to see that.
Exactly.
Wearing a mustache.
It wears him. You're right. It
Yeah.
And The Commuter, I didn't even realize came out. That was like a direct DVD thing. So I didn't know.
Taken 4.
Taken 4 on a train.
Well, excuse me.
They had, taken 3 on a plane.
They got up the stairs. Taken 5 in a Hyperloop.
There's Taken
No,
two,
that's the
and she
new
got
one that's coming out this
oh.
winter where he's a snowplow driver.
That's right.
It's called Cold Pursuit.
It totally
what
is.
the hell, guys?
totally is.
We're not even
Poor
trying.
Liam Neeson.
Is it weird that the title makes me want to go see it? Like, that's just
I wanna go see it
so
too.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
His cousin was kidnapped this time.
No, watch the trailer.
Like his aunt.
But yeah, no, I thought The Predator was a decent film.
All right, so are we deciding between Mission Impossible Fallout and The Predator? Is that what we're doing?
No, we decided on Mission
Mission
Impossible.
Impossible. If
What?
I'm going to cast a vote, it's going to be
Okay, raise your hand for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Come on.
So
Right.
it's 3 of us.
Raise your hand for The Predator.
Hey, where did your
Yeah.
vote go?
Henry Cavill.
So what were the fan votes? Did they go-
The fans voted for Mission Impossible.
Okay.
So they know.
All right.
They know. You have lost this battle, young man.
It's not the last one he's going to lose.
poor wayward soul voted for the Meg, and
I know.
Jordan, what
We
the
banned
hell,
him from the
man?
page.
I'm willing to contribute to his monthly therapy sessions. Like, you need to seek help, sir.
You just must really like Jason
All
Statham.
right, next up.
Oh, man.
Best horror film. Okay, this should be a little bit more interesting, I assume. Our nominees were The Nun, The First Purge, Hereditary, A Quiet Place, and the 2018 Halloween.
You know this is my jam, but I'm not gonna talk yet. Go ahead.
You already talked.
No.
Yeah, you already.
Wait,
You're
do
literally
you have
talking
something
right
you
now.
want to say?
He's the most
yeah,
famous.
sure. So I didn't watch any of these
I am
because
the
I
most
don't do
famous.
horror movies at all. I'm a big baby, and
So-
I don't like getting the shit scared out of me. So.
But you're gonna cast a vote.
I am off of what I've heard about them. So.
Oh my God, what do you vote for?
I'm gonna vote for Quiet Place.
Yeah, boy.
That's the only one I've seen on that list, and it is
I've heard
great.
so many good things about it.
is a good one.
And yeah.
Are you ready
so-
for the real factual?
Look at his face. He's like, I'm gonna
IMDb
give you the
opinion?
right answer.
I'm going with A Quiet Place too, because I mean, when you think about the scope of the project, the budget that
Yes.
it had, what they pulled off with limited resources was really impressive, and it was unique. It was a
And the
different
concept
story.
of it, like, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the position they put Emily Blunt in was just
yeah.
the worst it could
Oh,
possibly
man.
be.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that in the preview, and I'm like, nope, this is not for
Oh,
me.
and it's more awkward
this
in the
is not a
movie.
movie
It
for
is
me.
very like.
So John, what is the right answer?
Yeah.
So 1 second.
If you say the first purge, you're out of here.
Get out.
So for real, I am a avid horror film fan, and the most groundbreaking movie, and I'd say it's pretty close between A Quiet Place and Hereditary. Hereditary was soul shattering. Like
There's something not right with that movie. That upset me.
exactly,
It
it's a
upset
movie.
me.
That's why it's so good.
You leave the movie and you are truly just like
Like a
you're
piece of
not
your-
scared.
a piece of your soul
but
is
you,
gone.
Yeah, your soul. You're like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Mhm.
And it takes a lot of rewatching and mental collection to really figure out like, whoa, they threw me all these loops.
I didn't
could
rewatch
not
it while I
even
was scared of
figure
that
out the
movie.
movie.
No, one and done is fine.
But one of the best performances, aside from Emily Blunt's performance in
Was
A
Toni
Quiet
Collette?
Place, no,
No, you're talking about the clicker?
kid.
The little clicker?
the
Little-
guy.
little-
So they were,
Got it.
so that he was in Jumanji, the kid.
Got it. Okay.
The whole scene is him looking in a mirror, and it's just his eyes for 10 minutes
that-
straight.
yeah.
And that
Ooh,
scene is
no,
so
yeah.
much emotion, and that is very hard to pull off.
I'm sorry. There's a 10-minute scene
Well, it's not like
where
10
he's
minutes.
staring
Like
in
an
a mirror.
eyeball in the dark.
You just see his eyes in the rearview mirror of a car. And
For
what has
10
happened, I'm trying not to ruin the movie, but what
Okay.
has happened
Oh, you're talking about after... Yeah.
wasn't that was
It
like
wasn't 10 minutes,
hard to
but
do.
yes, that was one of those where you're like,
But I'll stop
oh
talking.
shit, that happened.
All right.
But it's close to
Ryan, do you have anything to say?
I did not see any of these movies.
I know
I've
you're
heard a
not
lot
like
of good
a
things
giant
about
horror
The Quiet
film,
Place,
yeah.
but mostly it was like a brand new director and writer. Jon Czerwinski hadn't really done anything, and everybody loved it, so that says a lot.
Yeah.
So did John's argument for Hereditary sway any A Quiet Place votes?
No.
It's because you have to see it.
Probably
Like,
not.
Honestly,
All right,
it's
so
one
A
of
Quiet
those
Place
movies.
wins, and we move on.
No.
Oh, who are you talking? Are you going to talk
It's
about
still not enough
Halloween?
votes to make
Damn
anything
right.
win. So.
All right.
So, A Quiet Place was great.
It was.
I loved it.
He's gonna-
Hereditary was great too, and I loved it. First Purge was horrible. The
Oh, I
Nun
know.
was horrible.
Oh God, I know.
I heard people
God,
talking
oh,
about the
God.
Nun.
Here's
It
the
was
thing.
like a good movie. And
It wasn't.
It didn't even fit in the universe.
oh.
Like, it didn't
I
even make sense.
so my favorite was Halloween because shut up.
No, it's good.
Because it's not only just
Shots.
a,
Not as good.
it's not just like a horror movie and extremely terrifying, but it's also a movie about what happens to someone after 40 years of trauma that goes on to them. And as someone who's experienced trauma, seeing that play out on screen and it's just like wow, because you don't see that a whole lot, especially in horror movies.
Yeah.
True.
To see the after effect of that, you see that the person usually survives and there's a sequel and then a reboot of whatever. This one takes place directly after the first one, has Jamie Lee Curtis in it, who was a badass in this
Which
movie.
I was going to say, I think that's awesome that they...
And, John Carpenter come back to produce it and do the score for it. It was just all around a great movie, and I loved it.
Three
so.
female leads. That
Yeah, three
kicked
female
ass.
leads. It was a generation of
was
women
good.
in there, and so Halloween was my movie.
Did they explain, what?
They ignored the others.
Got it.
Yeah, they
just
ignore
com-
them.
Even though she had Josh Hartnett as a child and
Yeah.
that
he
whole
was
all of that was
handsome
ignored.
I
and
mean,
beautiful.
they ignore literally everything but the first one.
Yeah. And this,
Alright.
it's
She's not even.
and they're not related.
She was never related to.
Yeah,
him,
it was just
but
a
she
random
isn't
act
a-
of killing.
yeah.
That's what's more terrifying than having someone to be your brother. It's just a
But it
random
works.
act of...
Right.
Do you
Death.
know, as someone who hasn't seen all the Halloween movies, do you know that it's only related to the first one because the movie shows you, or because you know that just from knowing about the movie?
No, the movie tells you. That's only because they say there's a line saying, wasn't that her brother or whatever? They go, no, that was just a myth people made up. So they
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, and this is starting a trend that I'm not necessarily enjoying, where we're making sequels that ignore sequels because they weren't very good, right? I mean, Terminator's doing it next, and it's just...
Are they ignoring the
Like
other
basically
one?
just
Don't you
wipe the
want
slate
those to be
clean.
redeemed?
I'm not saying I don't want good sequels. It's just, it seems like a cop-out, especially for a franchise that's been around as long with as many sequels as Halloween, to basically say, this chunk of film never happened.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean...
I did not like the other one, so I'm okay
And that's
with it.
fine, right? But it seems like a cop-out from a creative perspective to not have to play by any of these rules, but you play by the pick-and-choose rules. Well, we like the first film.
Didn't the X-Men franchise do that?
At least they used in-universe time travel to do it.
Okay, so that's okay.
No, I'm not-
At
Because
least
you
they
love
time
that movie.
travel.
No, hang on a second. There's a difference between ignoring films and using an in-universe explanation to erase time. That's time travel, right? I mean, the Back to the Future trilogy does that, right? And I don't think you would argue that those are horrible films for doing that.
I'm not saying
The Western
every
one
time
is
travel
terrible.
movie is a horrible
No,
movie.
that's true.
So my point is that when you just ignore it without any explanation simply because you just didn't like the other ones, that seems lazy.
Well, and they liked the second one, but they just were trying to add an element to the second one to this one. They're like, we can't really do this. We're just going to go off the first one.
This isn't you're acting like this is a high-grossing franchise. They didn't make that. This movie made more than all the other ones, actually.
Sure, but I mean, it's made enough to stay around for a very long time.
They set up for a sequel, so
Oh, yeah. Of
it
course
makes
they did.
sense to
That's just modern
reboot.
Hollywood, but
yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, what was the voting?
A Quiet Place.
A
One.
Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was excellent as well.
It was.
Yeah, I'll say the last thing before that. I don't watch as many horror movies as I used to, but I love listening to horror podcasts. The No Sleep podcast is amazing. It's like the only one I actually pay for. And I will say, like, I really like what you said, especially John, about Hereditary, because my favorite scary movies aren't ones that really scare me.
Right.
They're the ones that I keep thinking about days later,
Mhm.
you know, when I'm sitting at home alone.
Yeah.
And so, like, I really like ones, you know, like The Quiet Place that had just the idea of that.
Yeah.
That's something that really sits in your brain and keeps turning. And there's something to be said about jump scare movies. Not that they're better or worse, but I really appreciate having all of these on the list, especially with, like, Halloween being good. In my opinion, it had no right being as good as it sounds like it was.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so I really like that. I like that, you know, some of those are new ideas, and then with Halloween, it takes an old concept and it keeps it fresh. So I like that there's room for all of that.
So is the winner A Quiet Place then because of
I
voting?
think so. I
That
think
makes
that makes
sense.
it 5-2.
Okay. Moving on. So,
Now we're on TV, and we're
Yes.
talking the best sci-fi series. A lot of really good sci-fi shows. Couldn't even put all of them on here. So I specifically narrowed it down to ones that had a current season, which is why we don't see the Orville and Star Trek Discovery. They were featured last year on our nominees. They have not come out with second seasons yet, so we didn't want to have the same content for nominations twice. But we have Black Mirror, The Handmaid's Tale, Westworld, The New Lost in Space, Altered Carbon, and Electric Dreams.
A lot of good stuff to choose from.
Absolutely.
This one was hard to vote for. I was like, oh.
this was an example of like Lost in Space is better than it probably has any right to be.
Right?
You know?
Well, the budget was like,
It's so good.
God.
It's
I think that's what I voted
With a
for,
budget
Lost in
like
Space.
that, like, you only expect greatness.
And I'm impressed by, I mean, you know, it takes place on an alien planet, you've got spaceships, you've got the robot, like there's just all this really cool stuff going on. And considering what it's based off of, you know, a mid-1950s black and white show, I was just super blown away by it.
Well, and those kid actors, those child actors are really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like-
this girl, what was it, Posey or whatever her name
Yeah.
was?
Parker Posey?
She killed it.
Oh yeah. She was an interesting villain.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's something to be said about the new phase of anthology shows. Black Mirror and Electric Dreams both presenting combined or finished stories all in one episode and, you know, telling great, compelling tales in that time is very impressive. It's something that, you know, we haven't seen for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's since Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt
Yeah.
and those type of
Outer
shows.
Limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I voted for Black Mirror because it takes a lot of, like, they actually have a really good, diverse set of people. Like they had Jodie Foster directed one.
Yeah.
That one was a really crazy episode.
Yeah.
It was an episode where the parent, so the whole show is circled around.
Is that the one where she chips the kid or whatever?
She does,
Yeah.
and she can see what the kid can
That's
see.
right.
So
And
when
she
the
can
kid
block out
grows
stuff.
up and she's finally a teenager, you don't want to see what that kid sees. It was just
But
it
the
was
mom
an awakening.
does.
But it was how
Aw.
technology has
Yeah.
ruined a person's life, and they've even created this little universe where they all kind of connect in the last season. So I thought that was really good. And there was a great Star Trek parody episode that was
Right.
just excellent.
That won an Emmy for, I think, didn't it?
It was
won
great.
something.
The
yeah.
budget was awesome. The writing was good. The acting was on point. It's a show where you can go, I don't want to watch this one. And you can literally just skip
Yeah, you
ahead.
can skip, yeah.
Or go back and watch it again.
I like the Bryce Dallas Howard one. That one's always really good.
The
Where
John
they
Hamm
vote.
one. The Christmas one. That was the best
I haven't seen that one yet.
And John Hamm appears in Electric Dreams too, which is pretty
He's
great.
just good at cameos.
He's a good actor.
I know.
Good
He's
actor.
really good.
And then Westworld and Handmaid's Tale both had solid second seasons.
Westworld was rough.
Well, Westworld had
Let's not.
continuity problems and time problems. They had too much going on, and it confused a lot when you don't need to, guys. You already have a really great premise.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really liked season 1 of Westworld, and then
Yeah.
when like the big, so this is what's going on. Just a few episodes in, by that time I was like, okay, this is a whole lot, and I have no idea what a single character's motivation is.
Well,
And
the
that's
only
pretty
episode was the
important.
Indian guy was the best episode of the whole season, and that you know what I'm talking about. Did you watch it?
I'm not sure in the second season.
Yeah, the Native American guy. He's got a whole episode about why he exists in Westworld. It's
Interesting.
solid.
Interesting.
okay, so let's see. Nothing in chat to talk about. So, who votes for Black Mirror? John does. Handmaid's Tale.
Just me.
Westworld. Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Altered Carbon.
That was a good show.
That was good. It was
yeah.
good.
Electric Dreams.
I don't know what Electric Dreams is.
So Lost in Space.
All right.
then.
Lost in
baby.
Space. Lost in Space
We
wins.
cast no votes.
Lost in Space, I will say, is probably the happiest
Yeah,
of all the
yeah.
shows.
Yeah,
If you want to
fair.
be depressed, watch Black Mirror.
Like, there's some
Yeah,
really good
Handmaid's Tale.
dystopian sci-fi going on here.
That's fair.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about music because I adore music and I always squeeze on original scores and soundtracks. Best original score in film. I kind of went with the nominees that made a ton of other lists that IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes recommended, as well as just straight up CD sales. What was selling? So, Solo, Star Wars Story, Shape of Water, Incredibles 2, Avengers: Infinity War, and Bad Times at the El Royale are the nominees for Best Original Score.
And why isn't The Greatest Showman on here?
That's the soundtrack.
Yeah, because yeah,
Because I would have voted.
I
20
don't-
times.
There's
I
a separate
tried-
separate
No, I know,
category
I know.
for soundtrack.
I try not to do double for music, and
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
You don't want to skew the results.
yeah.
So I'm a bit of a sucker for Alan Silvestri, who does the Avengers theme and did the score for Infinity War. Also did Back to the Future, so my vote is for Infinity War. I think that the Avengers theme itself is one of the most, if not the most iconic theme from the modern era of filmmaking, the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I couldn't pick out a song from like Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy. I couldn't tell you that it was from that, but I hear those dun 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 dun. I know exactly what those are. The 4 notes, I got that.
Right, and it's tough to make a theme that is that recognizable, and
It's so simple, too.
the Infinity War score is just, it builds on that and makes it more and more complex as the movie gets more intense.
And its usage of each character's individual themes, which aren't super recognizable in general, but they did a really good job of bringing that into.
Yeah, that's what I ended up voting for on the actual voting post. So
So that's my vote then.
yeah.
I think you've got a unanimous decision here.
No, I mean, I think I think I would prefer the solo sound, not soundtrack score.
That's what I
Just
voted
because
for.
I'm kind of a sucker for Star Wars themes in general,
Yeah.
and I thought that one did a really good job. It didn't necessarily I don't know. It's tough because the Avengers was really well used, but I was trying not to let the usage of 4 or however many other movies there's been of the Avengers impact me. But I let it obviously affect me with Solo. So it really I really enjoyed both those. I watched The Incredibles and the score didn't really stand out to me. So
not
it
even
would be
as much
between
as the
those two
first
for
one.
me.
Mm-mm.
The original ones, that score stuck in my brain, and either Incredibles 2 was exactly the same.
It was the same. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like they didn't change anything.
Right, or it just wasn't that memorable then.
Right.
Know? So, anybody else?
And I didn't see
Mine's Solo.
too.
I mean, I loved it, and when the theme came on, the asteroid theme from episode 5, I'm like, this is a throwback. So yeah, Solo for me.
All right. All hands for Solo. All hands for Infinity War.
Infinity War it is.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Let me see here. I think that's the first one where we got something. No, Avengers Infinity War won with the fans too.
Yeah, I mean, something to keep in mind is of this list, I think it's probably safe to say that far more people saw Infinity War than anything else on this
definitely.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Right.
See, that's why this voting is always hard for me when I'm watching the comments on Facebook, and I'm like, how many of these have you seen?
Yeah.
Right. The question isn't, what have you seen? The question is, what's the best?
Yeah.
That always gets me.
But, I mean, to Ryan's point, the Solo and Infinity War both get this bump from these massive franchises where the themes
Well,
have
so does
evolved.
Incredibles.
Yeah,
you know?
they do
Yeah.
too.
Their hype was big, but not Infinity War big.
You're right. Let's do
And I didn't even watch, I didn't even get a chance to do the El Royale or whatever that one was.
Bad Times at the El
I didn't get
Royale.
to see
man.
that one. It was in and out of the theater before I could even buy a ticket.
Score on that one is really good. It's just there's that epicness to Infinity War and Solo that because they're like sci-fi operas is kind of
Right.
tough to match.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is Best Fantasy Series. We are back to television. The Magicians, a series of unfortunate events. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Lucifer, and Outlander are the nominees. So I know that Ian has immersed himself in Sabrina. You
It
wanna-
was so good.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because
And they're doing a
movie is
Christmas
so horrible.
special. I'm happy. Praise Satan.
That's the line.
They do it. That's the line.
And they had to pay.
He said
for,
the thing. He said the thing.
They had to pay $50 million for Baphomet. Like, he is
Yep.
that fucking cool. Like, it's a goat dude, okay? Like,
There's a little more to it than that, and let's be nice. I don't want to get
Statue.
sued by them.
Right? Jesus.
We don't have $50 million.
Combined with our powers combined. I'm just kidding.
No, the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So I think everyone here remembers or at least has seen a clip or two of the 90s Melissa Joan Hart Sabrina
Of
show.
course.
yeah.
Very campy. The
Then
cat.
Clarissa explains it all.
Yeah. I mean, the cat.
Totally the same.
That's
It was the one, where it was the cheap, parlor trick kind of magic. The cat looked like he had a mild stroke. It was a whole mess of things. And
rough.
it did.
Like his head was all
Yep.
what was his name? Sable.
Salem.
Sorry.
Sable.
Like the Salem witches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sable Witches.
I love
Yeah,
it.
Sable is
Their
the
name
same
he's named her
universe.
Car.
Yes. No, but this show, it's extremely dark. It's
Yeah.
That cat's awesome.
the cat doesn't talk at all in this. It just can turn to magical things and kill people. It's fantastic.
Oh, I was really about to be like, oh, so it's like a cat? And then you said that, and I'm like,
They have great actors. They have Lucy Davis, I think, right from is
Okay.
that from Wonder Woman, right? Who played Etta Candy.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
She
She's
is
adorable.
She is Aunt Hilda. Zelda.
Yeah?
She's one. I can't remember which one she
Zelda.
is.
That's cool.
She's Zelda.
Aunt Zelda?
She's
No,
Zelda.
it is. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Miranda.
Zelda and Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Miranda Otto.
I did
is
watch
Zelda.
that show.
She's fantastic.
This is a tough category for me because I haven't watched any of these except for unfortunate events, and I didn't watch this last season of them. So
This one is
I
just
got nothing.
frustrating. I like this season frustrating.
In any case, Sabrina, it's dark, it's twisted, it's hilarious, it's on Netflix, so they can do a whole bunch of shit on there.
Yeah.
It's not like your 90s Sabrina, so it was a very, unique change of pace, and I was like, oh, this is going to be whatever, and I was binge watch it in like 2 days.
So, anybody else have something to say about this category?
I saw not one of these, so.
I got to watch a few episodes of Unfortunate Events, which I enjoyed. I'm a fan of Lemony Snicket, so I think that's why I enjoyed it.
I like the gothic whimsy to it.
Yes.
Like, it's not
Yes.
quite super dark, but it's also not quite cheery fantasy. It's
Yes.
like middle of the road, and you know, you keep. They say at the very beginning of every episode, like, this is despair, this is
Yeah,
horrible,
yeah.
and you're like, but no, because you're cute, you're Patrick Warburton, it's not going to be bad, and
Right.
then these horrible things keep happening.
Yeah.
He's
So
the
that's
best
all I
part.
can really say about any of them. I mean, like I've seen the Sabrina previews, and no offense, but they looked horrible, so I didn't watch it.
Fight.
It's not the best trailer ever made for us.
Yeah, it was
It
just,
wasn't.
I was just like, no.
Watch the first episode.
I got more hyped by the fact that it was too dark, so CW was like, we're going to give this to Netflix.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
That's cool.
my girlfriend watches Once Upon a Time, and
Love that
like
show.
they're actually critical, like real things I can say about that show, but I can boil it down to like no matter what happens, everyone has perfect teeth. Like, it's always just like a little too clean
Yeah.
and stuff. And so this, even though Sabrina, I think it was a good TV show. It's not my cup of tea, but I think that's just because I don't actually like TV shows that much. But I like that this one was not afraid to do what it was going to say.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
no.
it was, there was an illusion that someone was going to die or something, and then it happens. And so I liked that they weren't afraid to, get a little dirty.
Yeah, these are witches. These aren't like, oh, I'm just like, about the crystal and it's...
Well,
it's
you look at how dark they made
Witches.
Riverdale.
It's a real
It's
thing.
the
It's
same universe.
Yes, and they share the universe too, so it's going to be a crossover.
So did
at
you
one
watch
point.
any of the other ones? I'm just curious.
Any other... Oh, I stopped in Unfortunate Events because it was too hard to get through the second season. I was like, this is... I've never heard of The Magicians.
I haven't either.
Never heard of Outlander. And Lucifer, I started the first season.
Do you like that?
Lucifer?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I love it.
So, like, my opinion, I've watched all of these shows, and Outlander is a soap opera in
Yeah.
a specific time period.
Oh.
It's not my cup of tea.
I won't like it then, probably.
It's not really even. I mean, there's time travel
Right.
involved, but it's just not written as good as everyone says it is. Sabrina was a solid 6.5, 7. I think if I'm gonna vote, I'd say probably the series of Unfortunate Events, only because of the universe they've created.
Right.
And although this season was very frustrating because you already know it never ends good.
Yeah.
And you already know something is going to leave you on a cliffhanger when they end the season, because that's what they always do. There was a lot of different places. They took the kids to a lot of different places. They expanded
And
it.
they had Nathan Fillion in this one, so...
Yes, they did.
I will-
Well, way more than last season.
Yes, I will... yeah, that is a plus for me, but it's still Sabrina for
They
me.
just expanded their universe, so the kids were in every episode a new place.
All right, well, we should probably wrap this one up.
Yeah. Okay, so vote for Sabrina, vote for Unfortunate Events. Anybody else want to weigh in?
We'll have the fans vote.
The fans voted for Sabrina.
Sweet.
All right.
All right.
This until next time.
So this next category will probably help us pick up a little bit of time.
Best sports game. Did anybody play any?
Okay, I have a
First of all,
FIFA.
no, but I'm always going to vote for Mario Tennis because that is so fun.
I don't get sports
That's fair.
games. They just...
Oh, well, you see, there's a particular sport in the game, and then you play as the
It's
players.
a Swedish term.
And once they all look like, oh, instead of going to watch it, I'm just going to move my person around.
All right, so I do enjoy sports games.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go into that.
No, I'm not actually. So here's the thing. So there's 5 on our list, right? So we have Mario Tennis Aces, NHL, NBA 2K, FIFA, Madden, all 19s.
What's 2K?
So
2K is the company
2000.
that produces it.
2019.
It's 2018.
No, they're all.
It's like a car.
They're
They're
always
like
either-
a year, yeah.
So
It
2K.
is. Always like a car. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what to do with you.
And we play
Here's the thing. When you start counting, you don't start with 0, unlike the year 2000. You start with 1. Like, that's where we get
Can we
there.
just all vote for Mario and call it good?
Yeah.
So let me just say my piece as someone who enjoys sports games. The 4 of these on the list have become almost like simulators, more than a standard game at this point. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I love the realism. I love being able to do realistic moves and control different players, and the graphics are amazing the more and more these games get updated. I've been very impressed with FIFA as of late. But they are nowhere near as enjoyable to play for me as they used to be, which is why something like Mario Tennis Aces tends to get a vote for me, because it's just so silly and outlandish. You can get some friends together in a room and people want to play it because it's short, it's fun, it's not super serious. So that's what would get my vote.
Yeah.
I like how there's like what is FIFA? Is that a real
FIFA.
Oh, I thought it was like NBA, FI, whatever. Shut up.
Like the division.
Yes. So I thought it's like there's like 4 real ones, and then there's Mario.
Right.
Floor.
I mean, that's usually how it goes.
Yes.
Right? But no, it's Mario Tennis Aces has a lot of fun components and a ton of characters, a ton of mini games and modes and crazy stuff, power-ups that you can do. It's it's the Mario Kart of tennis.
Yeah.
So the NHL 19 is the highest rated game on there by 3 different video game reviewers, so that is something to be said for. But the winner of our fans was the NBA game.
My 7-year-old likes
It
that
doesn't
game.
surprise me.
Yeah, that's not right.
So
I've definitely found that the NBA games tend to be incredibly popular.
Yes.
People tend to buy them more, and I think maybe it's because just the gameplay is a little more fast-paced than both FIFA and Madden, and the NHL as a sport is not as popular as the other
Right.
3.
Right.
Right. So I think that kind of has a lot to do with it. But those 4 games, I just feel like are on such a similar level from a quality and gameplay standpoint that it really just comes down to just which sport do you enjoy more.
yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
Well, I mean, let's be real here. Doesn't EA Sports probably owns all of these games, right?
Well, no,
Right.
2K is a separate company.
2K is the only one, but everything else is EA.
And
Yeah.
Except for
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Yeah, so EA is 3 of these.
What I'm trying to point out is that the same company runs those other ones, so the quality is continuously being kept
That's fair.
at that level.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a good point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So Mario.
Yeah. Right? Like,
Screw you guys and your MBAs.
okay, so next up, best sidekick in a film. Also a new addition to the team, but I can't fit that all in one graphic. So, if this was the year where they first made their appearance in a film, or the first time they were included as, part of the team, that's when I put them in. So we have Domino, Okoye, Cable, Valkyrie, and Was. 4 out of 5 of these are some really badass ladies that I enjoyed watching on screen, and
And there's Josh Brolin.
and then there's,
He's an excellent actor.
I'm not saying that.
he is a wonderful lady.
Excuse me. I'm gonna downplay him.
So my vote goes to Domino,
Yeah?
actually.
Why?
I just found her character to be super fun, and I thought she was just a fresh bit of life into the Deadpool franchise, because it's a very sarcastic, biting franchise, and it's a great formula that worked really well, obviously, in the first film, but I feel like he needed somebody to bounce off of a little bit in the second one who had a different perspective. And her power, luck being a superpower is
How
fun.
you could put that in film is just amazing.
Well,
That-
every
that-
time they
yeah.
had done it in the cartoons, it was always just how she shot. She would shoot up into the air
So she's
randomly,
Deadshot.
and it would still hit somebody because she was
So she's bullseye.
lucky. And I always thought that was crap. Here, she survived.
And actually,
all
like,
this.
legitimately
Yeah.
lucky things happening. I had a really
Yes,
hard
I
time
do,
voting
too.
on this one.
One conversation at a time.
Nope, everyone should
All right, anybody else voting for Domino?
I would vote for Domino also.
Okay.
Of these choices, I think that Valkyrie was wasted, unfortunately. Wasp didn't really stand out as much as I wanted her to. Cable had weird motivations and just didn't, I don't know.
daughter.
Right, it was just, it didn't come
weird.
across, it didn't come across very
Guy
well to me.
murders his daughter. He goes back in time.
Okoye was cool. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
right,
the only
she
one
was
that would
really
be that would be
Yeah.
a competitor for me. But I would say Domino because I think I had more fun with her character, and luck as a superpower was very interesting. So that's where my vote would go to.
Okay, anybody voting for Cable?
I want to, but
Grumpy old Brolin.
Womp womp.
I want to, and he's
I'm
like my
voting for
man.
Cable.
But
Casey, why are you voting for Cable?
Just because, like John mentioned, his motives were, they touched my heart soul.
Yeah.
And the little teddy bear, and just like, he's such a hard ass, but deep down, he's not. Like, he's just really not. And then like this, the sacrificial thing he does at the end, and it's just, he was so sweet and nice, and he pretty much saved the day, and that's why I'm voting for him.
She connected with
Okay.
him.
Yeah, I like
Okoye.
him.
Anybody voting?
You already know. You already know.
Yeah, I voted for Okoye too.
Which we didn't talk. Was it in Black Panther or in Infinity War?
It's Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Yeah,
Because she
they're-
was good in Infinity War too.
She was.
She had a couple lines, but most people only in that movie had 10 minutes or less of screen time, so it's really difficult to pick somebody out of Infinity War as a new addition or a sidekick, because I feel like that almost everybody was a sidekick to somebody else in Infinity War.
It was
so-
Thanos' movie. Everyone
Yeah,
was a sidekick
exactly.
to Thanos.
Right.
Josh
So-
Brolin.
Okoye
Again,
definitely
yes.
had more to do in Black Panther.
She was fantastic. I loved her.
I will say Valkyrie was my runner-up.
Interesting.
Honestly, yeah, I don't know what it was about her, but like, even though she had every reason to just be a drunken piece of shit, she got it together and like came through.
She got her
And
shit
so,
right.
She got her shit together and kind of came through.
This beautiful
so-
man was being injured. She had to do something.
Yes.
Right. So, she didn't have to. She's a lesbian. Like
His sins are made of fibers.
in real life
special
and in the
fibers.
movie, she was not having it.
So why Okoye?
I think that Okoye is just, I don't know, it's difficult to say. She had such a screen presence that really took me by surprise, because Denai Guerrera in The Walking Dead is a very somber, serious person, and here, like, just even in this photo that we're staring at, she's smiling and she's exuding life. And she's this warrior, and also the king's best friend. So
Yeah, I like how multidimensional she was, because, like you said, she had so much presence every time she's on the screen, and I feel like she never fell into the tropes that you're used to seeing in a huge movie like Black Panther, like a comic book hero movie, or otherwise. Like, I felt like the way that they portrayed her felt genuine the whole time. She felt like a real character and not like a caricature.
she easily could have gotten lost in that wonderful ensemble cast, and I don't feel like she
I
did.
agree.
So one thing I think that's worth pointing out is that Domino is the only one on this list who isn't a standard type of character. Like, we've seen all of these other ones before in some other shape or form, right? Someone who's avenging a kid or saving a kid or defending her country or, something like that. Whereas Domino, just her motives and her skill set is just totally unique. That's something we've never really seen.
I don't think we've seen something for Okoye before.
She's defending her country.
She's defending her king, but more importantly, she's a female general defending her king. We don't see that a whole lot.
Not the female aspect of it, that's
Motivation,
true,
it
but the
seems.
character...
That's what's
if you
something on that for her. That's right there.
Well,
That's the
Vanisher's
best
on there
thing.
4 times. That's clearly...
I mean,
The real Cinderella story.
Right?
Right? No, I just mean, like, if you take gender out of it, though, her character isn't particularly unique. What's unique is that she is a woman, but the character itself is not particularly unique.
Well, even if that, there's rare times where a general in a, specific war movie or secret mission movie or whatever, is also shown being loving and in a relationship, and then having to go at odds with that. So,
Yeah.
she got both the warrior and the romance that usually is one or the other.
That's interesting. That's a good point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have those.
I like it. I like
so
it. So
does
maybe
Okoye take it?
Hi.
At
It's
this
split. Right?
At this table,
What about the fans? What did they
it's
say?
3 and 3. The fans voted for Domino.
Woo!
I
He did. Wasn't by much. I did get a lot of people who yelled at me for Wasp being in the sidekick character, but
It is
know,
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
The Wasp.
yeah.
You don't have to like it, but that's
what it
unfortunately the way
is.
it was framed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she'd be more interesting maybe, but all right, so next category.
All right, best sidekick in a series, so a movie then a series. All right, I took the top 6 rated superhero shows. There are, hold on, I can count still.
Okay. I thought maybe you weren't looking. I'm sorry.
No. In the best superhero series that will appear later on, there are 6 featured. They're the highest rated superhero series currently on. There are more than 20. I had to look on every single IMDb page, and yeah, it was a mess. But out of those 6, 5 of them had really standout characters that were sidekicks. They weren't necessarily the focus of the whole show, but they had great storylines, and they assisted in propelling the plot in, non-tropey ways. So we have Colleen Wing from Iron Fist, Deke Shaw from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Misty Knight from Luke Cage, Blink from The Gifted, and Micro from Punisher.
And fun fact, 2 of those are now canceled.
Yeah.
Don't worry, a third one will be soon.
That's true. Just wait. Just wait for it.
So
I have a 4th one with Blink as well, let's be real.
Yeah.
I've only watched Iron Fist and Luke Cage on this list, so I've only really seen Colleen and Misty. I didn't really watch enough of Punisher to really understand who Micro was, so it's hard for me to really put in a vote on these. I feel like both of those 2 characters that I know were left at a point that was much more exciting to want to see the rest than they were in their entire seasons.
It's a damn shame. I would have loved to see a Daughters of the Dragon series because Colleen and Misty really shined these series, and they should have continued.
Both of them,
story.
Their best moments were when they were together. Their best moments were at the end of their respective seasons when they kind of reached a climax of their arc, and then you got the promise of what was to come was the really cool part.
And then Netflix is a bitch.
So I guess I have to abstain from this one. I don't really know.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
basically
abstaining,
everything
too.
you just said, I can apply to Micro on the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it was like, okay, this guy seems all right, and then it was the combination of him and the Punisher as their characters developed together that made the whole show better. I really like that show, but definitely, I don't think he alone is enough to win on here. I haven't seen anything else, but I can't confidently say that. But he definitely made the show a lot better with, by being on it. But
So
I voted
can't
for
cast a
Blink because she has purple hair.
Sounds like a
That's
good
a
reason.
legit
Shallow.
And she has green
I've
eyes.
seen all of these.
I have seen all
Yeah.
of these.
So Ryan, I think you're probably then positioned best
Yeah.
to tell us.
'Cause I've
So,
seen 0.
Blink I was never really into, so that wasn't purple hair or not. Was not really
Is that
something
the
I cared
Runaways?
about.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
The
Then I have to
Gifted.
get
Oh, I didn't watch
She was in
that.
Days of Future Past.
That's
too.
why I didn't know who she was.
Colleen was great. Misty was great, but they weren't. I think Deke and Micro were my favorites.
That's sexist.
Deke, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gave a lot of people really haven't stuck with it, but it's a really, really exceptional show in these later seasons. And Deke's character he plays a character that's in a post-apocalyptic future after the world has been destroyed by one of the Inhumans, and he's on basically a floating shard of Earth in a station. And our current cast is in that future by some reasons that happen. I don't want to spoil anything.
Stuff.
But and he kind of joins their kind of brigade, but he's from this future, and after they go back to their normal time, he's with them, and it's very much a fish out of water story. And the actor is really great at portraying a kid. He's not a kid, but he is like a kid that's experiencing everything for the first time, like
Yeah.
Pine
That's
Sol.
adorable.
What is Pine Sol? And fruit. He's never seen fruit before. But Micro is going to be my winner for sure. I think Punisher is probably my favorite series on Netflix, favorite original series on Netflix, and I thought over Daredevil. And Punisher was his character was great, but he was also great because of Micro, and I think that says a lot as far as best sidekick in a series, because you really want that nice correlation between the two characters, and you want their chemistry to work, and it really, really did in that show. And Micro was a huge highlight for me. So yeah, that would be where my vote goes. But Deke is a very close second, for sure.
What did the fans say?
The fans voted for Colleen Wing.
That's what I voted for. I've seen 3 out of 5, so I figure that's probably close enough,
She's a
right?
bionicle arm, so that's kind of
That's
cool.
That's
Misty.
Misty.
That's Misty.
Oh.
Misty. The way
Well,
they
she has a cool arm. I don't care.
just Colleen was awesome in the first
She was
season,
great.
and immediately you're like, we want more Colleen. So in the second season, what do? Give us more Colleen. So
They
if
take her
a
away.
character is that good that they just need to make her basically slowly transition Danny out and bring Colleen in. That's that's saying a lot.
I got a little bored with the I'm an amazing fighter, but I don't want to fight trope that she continues
kids.
No. Like that she as a character continues to struggle with, right? She keeps bringing up, you know, how
she's getting out of this life or whatever.
Yeah,
she did behead a dude, man. Like,
she did.
Let her heal.
She basically believed this guy her whole life, and then turns out he was a lie.
Except it was also part of her character before that. So it was part of her character before that. She has that climax. It continues to be a part of her character. She has that climax. Like, is that just what we would have seen in season 3?
You were abstaining. Like, you're talking a lot for someone who's
against my girl.
Alright, so we have Ryan as the only person who has seen all of these voting for Micro, and then we have the fans voting for Colleen.
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else voting for, I guess?
I mean, Blink does have cool hair. He makes a solid point.
Thank you.
So.
Alright.
I'm glad she came up on top because of that.
Motivations as family.
We're gonna move on. We gotta keep the pace going.
Best comedy film this year. So comedy was weak this year.
It was.
Like,
so weak. Yep.
there were so many better films in subgenres that comedy just kind of...
Why wasn't Venom up there?
it was my favorite comedy this year. So first one's Tag. The second one's Game Night. Third, Destination Wedding. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Ocean's 8.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
No.
I hated Jumanji.
Wow.
Really?
Like, I hated it.
I loved
it. Was
it.
awful.
Why? Because it wasn't like the original?
Not only that, but I just thought it was just
Robin Williams, no
ridiculous.
care.
Like, I didn't find it funny. I thought it was really forced humor. Like, it just... I
thought
not
Jack
a
Black
fan.
being a
She don't like
16-year-old
Kevin
was
Hart.
fantastic.
That's
Yeah,
all.
it's totally Kevin Hart. Yeah.
He has a little baby body. What's up with that?
He's a small man.
He is very small.
They play on that though. That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
Do I have to take that away from you?
Maybe. So maybe.
Okay, so Casey is definitely not voting for Jumanji.
So,
In case anyone was unclear.
I would like Keanu Reeves, right? That's clearly the vote because he's pretty.
Absolutely not. No, out of all of them, I didn't see Tag or Destination Wedding, so I'll go with Game Night because it's the lesser of two evils, I guess. Because I didn't think any of them were really funny.
Tag I have some problems with because the premise is great, the cast is
It was
great,
funny though.
but it just goes a little too far with its jokes over and over again. So it kind of lost me a little bit in there. But the fact that it's based on a real story and they have footage of the actual people who do
The
this at the
trailer
end,
was
like,
funnier than the movie.
Yes.
I hate when things are like that.
It's rough.
yeah.
It's the same thing with Game Night.
Yeah.
Like it was exactly that movie that had Steve Carell and Tina Fey. What was that?
Date
one?
Night.
Yeah.
Same movie.
Yeah.
Only not as funny.
Right.
Right. I
Carell
thought
and
Date
Tina
Night was
Fey
funny.
is
It was literally the
hilarious.
same movie.
Mm-hmm.
I
fair.
don't know. Like
Ocean's 8 was fantastic.
I loved Ocean's 8.
It's hard for me to consider it a comedy, but it was awesome.
That's why I didn't vote for it. 'Cause I didn't think it was a
Yeah, I
comedy.
didn't
think
find it
that people
funny.
know how to categorize it because it's not just a heist film. It's not just a crime film. But comedy is the first genre that popped up on Rotten Tomatoes, on IMDb, and Google. So I'm like, man, okay, I guess I'm sliding it in this one. But
It was all those things.
I really liked it. At worst, it's the second best of the Oceans franchise. I think
Yeah.
it might even be the best of the Oceans franchise. The cast was phenomenal. It was a tight story. The group wasn't too large where like I feel like Ocean's 11 starts to get to just be too many people to follow.
Kate Blanchett in that film is like my lesbian fashion icon. Like she looked amazing. I just want to wear those outfits.
So if I had to vote from these five, I just think Ocean's 8's the better movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure if it's necessarily the funniest, but I don't know if that's how you vote either. I think it's the best film of the five.
Well,
No,
then,
we're
yeah,
voting
I
for
would go with
comedy.
Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8 then. Yeah.
The fans went with Game Night.
Fascinating.
I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
They're wrong.
Right?
That's what I said though. Like out of funniness, I would go with that one, even though it wasn't that
I
funny.
mean, fans have disappointed us multiple times. So
Yes.
it's
true.
not like we have to go off of everything.
But the girl in Jumanji, and she plays Nebula. I can't
yeah,
remember.
Karen
Karen
Gillan.
Gillan.
She's so gorgeous.
She is. She's really pretty. And she's very funny in that movie.
Yeah, she was funny.
So there's at least three of us voting for Ocean's 8. Is that
Yeah.
right? Anybody want to vote for something else?
I did Game Night.
Game Night?
I'm with the fans.
I agree. It's a better film, just all the way around.
Okay, so we've got 4 for Ocean's 8. Okay.
0 for Jumanji. Let's just make that big.
I thought
I
Jumanji was
did like
funny.
Jumanji.
I did too.
I did not say I didn't like it. I just think
But we have- it has
Out of like laugh
better
factor,
movies.
that was the
So
funniest
we're just
movie on
gonna
there. But
note that it
Ocean's 8 was the
has
best
0
movie.
votes.
All right.
No, Robin Williams, no care.
Let's move on.
His name
Then.
was actually a tree.
Keep it. We gotta keep it moving. We can.
Most tolerable film adaptation. So there was a lot of adaptations from books this year. So 4 out of 5 of those are books, and then 1 was
And the one's a
video
video
game.
game.
Yeah. We have Crazy Rich Asians, Tomb Raider, Red Sparrow, Love, Simon, and The Darkest Minds. So The Darkest Minds was complete and utter shit.
Yes, it
Yeah.
But it's also based off of a book that's complete and utter shit.
But the trailer made it look cool.
But
Right?
was it tolerable?
It made it look like it was the best X-Men film.
Right? I'm like, oh, cool, Dark Phoenix.
Anything's better than
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
I
Yeah,
will
that's
say,
real.
I had to stop listening to the audiobook because it honestly just stressed me the hell out.
That is some tense stuff. Within 30 minutes of listening to that audiobook, they're talking about shooting kids in the head at like point blank range.
In like what's essentially a concentration
No,
camp.
that's
and-
not.
And
and
if you're
I-
like driving down the highway, I'm like, I can't listen to this.
And white knuckling the steering wheel going, "Ah!"
White knuckles.
Yep.
Like I need something chill. I need some Paul Simon. Or, like,
You show up to work and just your eyes are just
Yeah, just, oh.
no.
I haven't blinked in 4 days, man. I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed Crazy Rich Asians.
That was a good movie.
From start to finish.
I got a heart.
It was
It
it
was
was
a
a
good
lot
movie.
of fun. It was cute. The cast was really great. They all had good chemistry and back and forth with each other. There were a lot of storylines that were difficult to follow sometimes, but I think out
Too
of
many
all
characters.
those, that's if Derek was like, hey, do you want to watch a movie tonight? I'd pick Crazy Rich Asians first because I don't want to cry.
Well, I mean, I love Tomb Raider. It was a great adaptation, but yeah, Crazy Rich.
His face.
Oh,
better
no.
than Laura. It was better
We'll
than
go around because I
Angelina
love that
Jolie.
movie.
It was
No,
better than Angelina
I've only seen
Jolie's.
one movie on this list, and that was Tomb Raider, and that was because I was forced to see it, and it is definitely not tolerable. I'm going
Red
to vote for
Sparrow?
Crazy Rich Asians because I haven't seen it, but I trust Rachel's judgment.
Red Sparrow
And I do not
was
want
shit.
Tomb Raider to win.
Red Sparrow
Was
was
it?
shit.
I want to see it.
It's just boring. It's
Oh.
dry and it's very predictable.
I'm really sad that Jennifer Lawrence's career has like taken this really
Mother
bad
just
downhill.
fucked
Yeah,
up.
because
So-
she's my waifu.
Yep, first
right?
F-bomb. Mother just did that, didn't it?
So here's the thing. Crazy Rich Asians, though, as fantastic as it is, and the cast is wonderful. It's a great movie. It's a little tropey as like a rom-com kind of thing because at the end of the day,
But they also make fun of
what you
that.
think is going to happen is basically what happens in that movie.
Of course.
For better or worse. I mean, I'm not saying it's a problem, but if we're going to talk about what is kind of easy to guess, I think Crazy Rich Asians falls into that category as well. I'm not sure. I just don't want to give it a pass on that.
So Ian, you actually voted for Love, Simon.
Yes.
And that movie made me cry.
Oh, I made me
Yeah, it's pretty
bawl.
Yeah.
It was so good though. It's just a pure of heart kind of thing. It's
And that's
And
that
it-
little kid from Jurassic World, the first one, right?
the-
He's the older
yeah,
brother.
He's the older brother.
Oh, right,
yes.
yeah.
Yes. And it's about a kid who is trying to be who he is, but he's scared, and he gets out at school, and there's a whole shit show of stuff happens. But he finds love, and it's really sweet, and it's you don't see a whole lot of that with a gay character in the center right now, and so it was very well put together, and I liked it.
Fucking aw.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I know.
All right, so we've
And
got.
if you don't vote for it, basically you're against LGBT people.
Oh,
so
wow.
there you go.
Here.
We're
Well,
not playing that game.
Boom, card dealt.
What has the fans
We're not-
say?
yeah, what did the fans say?
yeah, are the fans anti?
Yeah,
Yeah, they said the same thing.
You remember, fans, every time you vote, you take a stance.
Yes.
It was for Tomb Raider.
Really?
Yeah.
Finger guns, right?
Interesting.
I was forced
I mean,
against my will to
Seriously
watch.
though, but as like an origin story and an adaptation, it was perfect. Like,
Perfect. Right.
yes,
Like
Clearly.
there were some sketchy points of CGI that they
there
could have sharpened
absolutely
up.
were with their
And
low budget.
Dominic West, I don't know why he still gets hired because he is.
He was awful.
He's not.
He's a great homeless
what
man.
happened?
He does look
But
homeless man.
honestly, like,
Alicia Vikander was great as Laura.
she was, and I really like how they show how Laura Croft is becoming Laura Croft. Like,
It's the
this
first
isn't
one where she actually raided a tomb.
Yeah, like this
She
isn't
did that in the
where...
second one.
She
All
did.
right.
Yes, she did.
Take it down a little bit. We're maxing out the mics. Take it down. One person at a time.
We're having a heated discussion.
But yeah, no, like this is, it shows you her becoming Laura Croft. Like with the bow and arrow, with all of that, this is the origin, like showing you her backstory, like her scrappy background and all of that. And you know, it sets it up for a sequel, obviously, when she purchases the two iconic handguns that Laura Croft usually carries around. Like, she's starting to learn
But will there be a sequel?
I hope
Actually,
so.
did
Like,
they
she's
budget?
starting to learn the
money.
archaeology and things like that, and it's like setting it up. Like, I think
I mean,
it's a good origin.
part of it is it probably is the best video game adaptation ever made.
Yeah.
I think that that's a pretty fair statement. I cannot think of a better video game adaptation film.
Super Mario?
Right.
Right.
Hey, John Leguizamo was an award winner.
I would watch Super Mario before I watch Super
Legitimately,
Mario.
that's the only movie Bob
Movie
Hoskins
to
ever
come up with.
regretted being in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so I think that means something. We're talking about adaptations. It is, I think, the best video game adaptation film.
Yeah. What about Mortal Kombat?
I knew he was going to say that.
What about it?
What
Ryan?
about-
I would watch Mortal Kombat or Super Mario Brothers any day over Tomb Raider.
Hey, TMNT
I'd rather watch
was a
this-
video game before it was a movie.
It was also a comic
It was a
book.
comic
before
book.
it
I know,
was a
but it was also a video game before.
Is there a movie based on the video game, or is there a movie based on the comic books?
There's a movie that completely...
Well, they did go back in time in one of the movies, so I guess you could say
It's
that's
kind of more the video
Sort of
game,
in time.
buddy.
The worst of the movies.
Okay, let's take a vote. Who votes
No.
for Crazy Rich Asians?
I do.
Who votes for Tomb Raider?
And the fans, so we're just
And the
gonna...
fans.
Alright.
And who
That's the
votes-
majority.
That's my people. She represents her people.
Yeah.
Alright, so we need to move on.
Yeah,
Okay.
best drama series. Did anybody watch any of these shows?
No.
Yeah, Narcos was amazing.
Marcos
Marcos is just...
I love harlots, and the only people that voted on this one was me and my sister.
Yeah.
So,
Is that like
It's
the
shit.
wins?
It's
harlots
shit.
won the fans.
You don't need to tell the you can say percentage. Alright? We don't need to know the count.
It was
It was shit. The show is shit. How dare you? I have never been so horny in my life. Like, that show is so good.
I have seen bits and pieces of Manic, and it's weird. It's weird. But Narcos, is that about drugs? Because he looks like he's covered in cocaine. Like,
Yeah.
he just got antiqued.
Oh yeah, it's like Sicario in a TV series.
That show is the most about drugs.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
It's the
Breaking
most
Bad
drugs.
is more about drugs.
Maybe we should add that category next year. The most about drugs.
Most about drugs. No, Maniac it's weird. I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's,
I got trolled so much for the categories this year. I think I'm just gonna come up with stuff like that next year, like most about drugs.
The most with cars.
Cars, the movie.
The most female presenting nipples.
Fantastic. Alright, so none of us really saw this.
yeah.
So Harlots is the winner.
So Narcos is the winner.
Alright.
What did the fans say? It was just you.
Did you not win? Did you not like?
Alright, hey. We gotta focus.
Okay, the best DCAU film. So we had to make a whole category dedicated to them because in a year they released 4 of these
This was
films.
hard.
Yeah, and they're all really good. The DCAU knows what's up,
Yeah.
and they got this shit on lock.
So this one's a little tough for me because I'm biased. The Death of Superman is one of my favorite comic book storylines ever done.
Well, Death of Superman won the fan vote.
So I kind of want to vote for that, but at the same time, Batman Ninja is so different.
Different.
So
I know.
unique. The stylization is so freaking cool.
Tony,
It's
get
insane
out of
that
there.
they released 2 very stylized versions of Batman this year.
It's fair.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know? Like that's
I didn't like
insane.
Gaslight. I actually thought it was kind of.
I thought it was
silly.
interesting.
I don't think noir really works for this day and age.
Well,
Unless you can get Nicolas Cage to voice Spider-Man.
no. I just thought the whole like.
Thought I was gonna get Ryan to say something there.
I did a
Poison Ivy.
I did like a laugh out of my nose.
That shit was lame.
I'm good with it. Poison Ivy never gets to be in anything, and since she's my favorite
Yeah.
character, like,
Bitterness.
yeah.
I gotta say, Suicide
Ninja was
Squad.
cool.
This one was not as good as the first one.
The
The
Arkham Asylum.
yeah,
or
the Assault on Arkham.
Yeah.
It was not as good as Assault on Arkham. It was
That's
a whole
sad.
different stylized thing. It was they had a different voice actor for Harley, and I was just like, I didn't like that. But Batman Ninja was extremely well done.
So we've got 2-3 votes for Batman Ninja?
No. I love
Oh,
Ninja,
sorry.
but I definitely thought of the 4 films, Superman was way better.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I didn't see any of them.
I have stuff I need to watch.
Yeah. I need to watch stuff.
But the voting was for Death of Superman?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't be mad about that. Like I said, it's my favorite.
It was
arc,
good.
So.
It's a good story. Ninja had very cool elements, but I don't think the story was as strong.
Fair
No,
enough.
it was all about the animation and
Right?
the whole style. The story was.
I mean, I appreciate it.
But I mean, Death of Superman does have like one of the stronger
It's pivotal, and
stories
that's
to back
Superman's
itself on,
biggest
so.
story.
Yeah.
And they're building off of it too. They have like the reign of Superman
I know,
coming
I
out.
can't wait.
They do,
I'm
yeah.
just so stoked because it's all tied
Who
together.
voiced Superman in this
So-
one again?
It was Rebecca Romijn's husband who voices
Jerry
Lois Lane.
O'Connell.
I
Yes.
thought you were just gonna say it was Rebecca Romaine. I'm like,
He was-
that's a gutsy
too.
call.
That
was.
is
Jerry
not
didn't even
Yeah,
recognize
Jerry
her.
O'Connell was Superman, and then Rebecca Romaine was Lois Lane.
Okay, so actually, this is just a question. When you
Sure.
say DCAU, are those actually related, or are they just DC?
So Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, and The Death of Superman are related, and I think Batman Ninja and Batman Gotham and Gaslight are supposed to be Elseworld stories.
Yeah, they are.
It basically it's the DC animated universe. They're kind of tied under a separate brand because it's Warner Brothers Animation that's responsible for it.
I'm trying to remember if
So.
I voted on this category.
All right, let's keep moving.
Best super villain in film. So taking the most popular supervillains,
I wonder who won.
Thanos, Deathstroke, the Juggernaut, Killmonger, and Hela were the options. Really, all the votes were spread out between 3 people, but you'd be wrong.
Really?
I voted
Oh.
Killmonger because
Killmonger.
I
Yeah.
could relate the most to him.
I
Fallen
can-
Prince,
I'd vote.
Yeah,
in
you
his
must
rightful
see.
place.
Dude, like,
Calm down,
Killmonger,
Simba.
Michael
You're
B.
fine.
Jordan's good too.
like, Killmonger's whole arc, I was like, man, maybe he should win.
Right?
You know?
It's a time
Maybe
where
he
you're
should.
just like, well, like Thanos is like resources. Even though I can create them, I'm just gonna take out half the galaxy.
Well, so
But like Killmonger is like, dude was owed. He was owed.
he is the first superhero villain I can recall who kind of has a point.
Better one than
Followed the
yeah.
rules of his own culture, and then his culture basically broke their own rules to turn their back on him for following the way to do things. Yeah, he was a jerk about it. He was mean about it. He's not a good
He's
guy.
a murderer.
He's still a villain, right? But he had a point.
Yeah.
He followed the rules of his culture to get what he believed he deserved and won those rights. And was just acted amazingly by Michael B. Jordan. The rest of these, I mean, the Juggernaut, I feel like is just nothing in here.
Yeah,
People were just really excited to see him pop up, but
Better than the third one.
But
I mean,
honestly,
yeah.
I don't.
I'm gonna go against everybody else and say Deathstroke because I think Teen Titans Go to the movies. Teen Titans Go in general is people kind of sleep on it because they like the original Teen Titans, and that's fine. You're allowed to like the original Teen Titans, but don't crap on something just because it's not what you liked. A lot of video gamers have the same kind of mindset, and other Star Wars fans. For the
People
prequels
who
and the
like
sequels.
Chuck E. Cheese and discovers it's a new animation.
Or like Tomb Raider.
It's a little like young Twinkie Mouse.
Yeah, the whole scene with him, like the teen. There's a whole scene where the Teen
All right,
Titans.
guys, one person at a time.
There's a whole scene where the Teen Titans have confuse him for Deadpool, and he goes back and
I
forth
saw that clip,
and
yeah.
talking about how he's not Deadpool, and they're like, "Give him a second, he's gonna make a snarky remark." And, it was pretty great. Killmonger was a great villain also, so I can't be mad if that wins. But I really like Deathstroke, and I like Teen Titans Go to the movies. So
I had a hard time choosing between Hela and Thanos, but I ended up voting for Thanos because it's fucking Thanos. So.
I find Thanos to be just so boring as a character. Like, yeah, he's got the most powerful object in the galaxy, and the one thing he wants to do with it is kill half of
But
the
honestly,
people,
like
I
I
guess.
kind of relate to that because I hate people, and
Oh,
so
so
like
you wanna
I
wipe
get
out
it.
half.
Like I
I
get
would.
it.
she wants to wipe out half his table right
I
now.
get it.
He's got the power to put himself somewhere where he never has to involve himself with people. So he's not doing it because he dislikes people. He's doing it because somehow in his head, it's a resource management problem, and he doesn't. He's gonna kill his daughter to do it,
Yeah,
and it's so sad. And oh, he's so human. Look at his emotions. And, like I don't care at all.
Can we just also discuss the fact that I feel like his chin kind of resembles testicles.
Is that a vote for or
He's a
against?
Balchinian. He's a Balchinian. You remember that?
Oh, God.
like the wrinkles on it. I don't know. It's just
So how did the fans vote?
The fans voted for Killmonger
Hell
by
yeah.
one. It was Thanos and Killmonger, and it was one.
You like took the words right out of my mouth when you explained Killmonger's. It's like you like believe him.
Hella was fun.
Yeah,
I was
she was.
expecting
That's why I
it
was kinda-
more votes because she was fun to watch. Kate Blanchett played like the
She was
first
OP.
Euro-P. Like,
We're arguing today.
Well, I think my issue with Hela has nothing to do with the character or anything other than the fact that like it's kind of the same story as Loki. She is the bad sibling.
Right.
She's really powerful, more powerful than our hero.
Except she was the secret.
Except right, she was the secret sibling instead of the secret fake sibling, right? You know.
the problem is if they make her the daughter of Loki, like she is in the comics, then you have fans more concerned on who fucked Loki and less.
Oh, there's
on
plenty of
the
fan
movie.
fiction about that.
Yeah.
But again, like, I mean,
Well,
that's-
it's always Thor. Thor fucks Loki. That's fan
Or
fiction.
Captain America.
It's more just like
Yeah.
it's not only been done before, it's been done in the exact same franchise already.
Just 2 films ago.
You know, right? So like it's just a little played out.
I didn't vote for her. I just thought it was fun. I really liked her in the film. So
Oh, and Ragnarok's wonderful. So
Yeah, it was good.
you know. All right, moving on.
okay, best fighting video game. My Hero 1's Justice, Blaze Blue, Cross.
Team battle. Sorry, I don't have typos.
Cross Tag Battle.
Cross tag battle. Cross tag.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Fighter Z and Soul Calibur 6.
Sorry.
This is what happens when Ron Burgundy reads the keyboard.
I had to type 32
Go
of these
fuck yourself,
slides.
San Diego.
Nobody checked my.
I was that too. I'm like, what's the cross to battle?
If you don't know,
Okay.
I actually do know some
Who's
about it.
played these games? Yeah.
Who wants
yeah.
to play these games?
Hey.
like, is that
I don't know anything about My Hero 1's Justice, like nothing.
I never heard
I
of
know
it.
so
zero.
bad. I want
zero.
it so bad.
Anime.
Blaze Blue is very cool looking, even though I hardly know anything about it, but I've heard lots of good things about it. Dragon Ball Z, that is... I only got into it because I like Dragon Ball Z, and I enjoyed playing it because you don't have to be good to feel good in that game. So like, as someone who is very, very bad at fighting games, that was a game where I could... so like, if you want to do a combo, instead of just, hitting triangle, circle, X, you can just mash X 3 times and it will do the thing.
Did you know that?
So
though?
it's nice. And so
nice.
if you want to get really good, then you can do it the proper way because there are benefits to really doing a
Right.
proper combo. But it's very accessible because you can do a heavy combo just by hitting the heavy button 3 times. And for somebody like me, that's great because it allows me to just have fun with it and not have to spend a bunch of time with it.
It does work for the button mashers, and like I am a button masher.
I am
When it comes to fighting games, that is how
mashers
here.
Yes, yeah, that's the thing. Like, these
Like
games,
just all of them.
Yep.
Well, button mashing is great for a PvP. I will beat Derek in PvP in a fighting game because I'm a button masher. However, I cannot defeat story mode, and I hand it over to him, and he can because
Fuck
he
you
can do
both.
the combos. Well,
It
congratulations.
was all about remembering combos and moves.
well,
when we were
I'm
younger.
a Street Fighter and a Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
all about
That's
remembering.
the thing.
Yeah.
So I think
See,
we,
I like Soul Calibur.
Soul
we
Calibur-
shouldn't sleep on Soul Calibur. This character
That's what I
creation
voted
on that
for.
game is
Soul
just...
Calibur won by one vote. Fighter Z was the second.
Brings new shit to the table every year.
And you can customize stuff,
every
too.
time they make a new one.
Yeah,
And
the customization is something that really shouldn't
Yeah.
be slept on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Video Game Donkey made like Donkey Kong versus like
Dude.
Yoshi.
Shrek.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen
Shrek,
I've
yeah.
seen some gnarly looking.
Right. So any game that lets you do that, I'm okay with.
That is really cool, right? Most fighting games don't let you create a character.
Right.
So the fact that they built that into the game was probably a lot of work, and I appreciate
It
that.
was like Tekken tried that, but like the new Tekken 7, it was good, but it wasn't as adaptive. Like they'd give you're still this character just wearing different clothes, right? This was like full customization.
Well, that's probably like Smash Brothers. You can be your Mii character, but all the Mii's are basically the same from like
Yeah.
a fighting standpoint. They just look like you.
Yeah.
So this is a really cool kind of concept. I agree. So Soul Calibur won the votes, is that what you
They
said?
did, yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Gameplay is
Yeah.
great.
Moving on, we gotta catch up a little bit.
Okay, so okayest TV series, when we say okayest, we do not mean that they're terrible shows. They have giant fan bases. A lot of people love them. The issue with them is they're not quite highly rated. Maybe they have some bad critical reviews out there, so they're like right in the middle. This year we're featuring Supernatural, the Charmed reboot, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Black Lightning. Out of all of these, I think my favorite this season was Black Lightning. I am going through that currently, and I am loving the storylines that they put together. It's hard to ignore representation, and this does it very beautifully. So.
Black Lightning's definitely high up on my list. If I remove like the last 10 minutes of Luke Cage, then Luke Cage wins it outright because
Okay.
I thought Bushmaster was phenomenal as a villain, and I loved
so
the
good.
whole arc in that season. I loved all of it. But until the end where Luke kind of takes over all
I'm just
the
gonna be a
gangs.
crime boss.
Yeah, it's like,
Spoiler alert.
sorry.
Hey, I've already spoiled a lot of stuff
The
today.
show's canceled.
I don't care.
The show is canceled.
Yeah, go watch it.
So like now, like that's how he ends, and like that's even worse. So that's a little tough. So that's why I think maybe the edge then does go to Black Lightning because it's different. I mean, not a lot of characters have this type of power set. It is a CW show, and I think that given what a budget on a CW show is like, I think it does really well with that budget. The special effects are solid. The storyline is cool. The characters are very interesting and compelling. There's a lot of mystery going on and intrigue, that kind of stuff that just reminds me of like first couple seasons of Arrow.
Any votes for Supernatural, Charmed, or Iron Fist?
I would vote for Iron Fist over
Yeah,
those.
and Iron
Yeah.
Fist.
Yeah, I think that I enjoyed Luke Cage. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Iron Fist. I think
Yeah.
since we're talking, I'm assuming the specific season that aired in the last
Yes.
year. I think Iron Fist was a huge improvement.
Agreed.
And I think that I liked Typhoid Mary. I know a lot of people didn't. And I liked Ward a lot. He might be my favorite character, one of my favorite side characters in all of the now dead Netflix MCU. But yeah, my vote would have been for Iron Fist of these five.
Okay.
Definitely a massive improvement over season
Yeah,
one.
I would
really
agree.
agree with you there. So okay, so 2 for Iron Fist, 2 for Black Lightning. Anybody else?
I haven't seen any of them.
Okay.
Luke Cage won the fan vote.
Okay. Fair enough. I wanted DC to win one because like Marvel's in so many of these categories,
Yeah.
All right, so moving on.
Okay, it's films. Same thing. These films didn't do as well, but they brought in a ton of money box office wise. They are stereotypical popcorn films. We've got A Wrinkle in Time, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Ready Player One, Pacific Rim Uprising, and Justice League. Out of all of these, I'd probably vote for Fallen Kingdom. I thought it was the better story out of all of it. I think all of these have kind of weak stories, and that's the issue. They're heavy special effects, and hint, hint, Justice League, some of them aren't even good special effects.
$10 million.
Fallen Kingdom gets my vote too. I'm a sucker for Pacific Rim. I really, really am. But the sequel was kind of weak compared to the first one. And it's probably because Del Toro wasn't involved and Idris Elba wasn't involved.
And
but,
Ron Perlman.
And Ron Perlman, yeah. But Fallen Kingdom, just like it's a strong monster movie, right? The story is nothing special, just like the rest of these here, but it's a really strong monster flick. The special effects are really good, and it ends on a really strong, very interesting note that kind of changes the direction of the franchise, which can't be said for Pacific Rim Uprising. Justice League was a massive disappointment. We've covered that. Wrinkle in Time is the second worst movie of the year that I've seen.
Remember how sad people were to go see that?
It was
How
bad.
it was.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this was sad.
That's how I felt about Ready Player One. And like I saw the previews and I'm like,
I like
this
Ready
is
Player
so
One.
awesome. And then I watched it and
And I was into it. That's my girlfriend's favorite book, and she did not like the movie. I listened to half of the audiobook, and I liked the story of it, but I did not like the writing at all.
Yeah.
So I quit listening to the audiobook, and I was like, well, now I don't know the ending, so I'll actually see the ending of the movie. And I ended up thinking the movie was great. I liked that they took a lot of, the whole thing's based off the 80s, and I enjoyed that they used a ton of modern pop culture references in it, so that you could take your kid to the movie and they would see a bunch of stuff that you don't understand. while you also see a bunch of stuff they don't understand. And
That's fun.
it's like it's like a Disney movie where the kids and adults enjoy different things about it.
I would take my kid to see that movie. Like, there's a lot of language in that movie that I would not allow my.
Well,
I would vote for Ready Player One as well. I've actually seen all 5 of these movies.
me too.
Yeah, I'm not saying you hadn't. I'm saying that in some of these other categories, I did not see all 5 of these things. But I think of all those, that's the only one that I really probably enjoyed most of it, at least. Justice League, we've talked about to death. Jurassic World, I was bored, and I don't really like the Jurassic Park. I like the Jurassic Park movies, but not the Jurassic World movies. Wrinkle in Time, I've had better shits than yeah, it was not good.
I think he's right.
I think it's worth pointing out that you did fall asleep in that one.
That's one of the first movies I've ever fallen asleep in. They've gone to a lot of movies with me.
Yeah,
so.
you don't know, I'm saying it as a statement on the film, because you don't do that.
Absolutely. And Pacific Rim, I really liked the first one, but the second one did not live up to it.
No.
Yeah.
Ready Player One definitely had problems. I would never argue that, but I think the things it did well, it did really well, and I really enjoyed it. Mainly a lot of the references and the way it was handling the source material. The source material, not of the book, but of the things, the references in it, was all handled with a great amount of respect.
I think that's the split, is if you've read the book, you don't
Like the movie, yeah.
And like, I actually really like the book. I know the writing's not great. It's kind of like a lower grade YA novel, but
Ready Player One to me is the boy equivalent to Twilight. It's poor writing dressed up in fantastic references. You know, so
Where was their references in Twilight? Arguing again.
Fantasy, fantastic references. Not fantastic, the adjective, like the noun, like there's fantasy world stuff built into it. That's
Fantastic.
that's it.
That's how I was
Where do we find them?
That's how I was using it. So it's
I'm going to take that bottle away from you.
Flip it.
turn into a drinking game.
Right.
All
Great
right.
analogy.
So
I like that. Twilight.
Who won this one?
Yeah.
Ready Player One took the fan vote because we have mainly a male demographic.
It was way better than Jurassic World. Jurassic World was just fucking terrible.
I don't know that it has
I'm
to do with the male demographic. I think a lot of these movies
Every
are...
time I
more
say male and
dinosaurs.
female, Derek's like, no, you're wrong.
No,
You silly one.
that's not what I meant. But I mean, look, if you look at these movies, 4 of these I think are the stereotypical guy flick.
Yeah.
they are.
A Wrinkle in Time is the only one that is probably more female appealing.
But it was also the weakest movie in this
It
list.
was bad.
I'm not trying to say because of women, but I'm also trying to say
But it was because of women.
it just was
That's
good.
fine.
I'm just kidding. The
That's
facts are
sad.
not a good movie.
Let's dial that down. That's not what...
That is the sad thing because like it's the only one directed by a female. It has the most female actors in it, and it's the one that did the absolute worst.
Yeah.
Like
Wonder Woman's the same situation. Really
Yeah.
good.
Did it do financially?
But Oprah was fine.
it did.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I know Pacific Rim didn't make very much. So.
Neither
Which
did
is weird. I won't say I loved Pacific Rim, but I mean, I watched it. I didn't hate it.
John Boyega is just a delight.
Yeah, he was
the greatest.
He was the best part of it. Yeah.
Alright, next.
All right.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so we will be right back. We're gonna do a quick in memoriam for the people that we lost this year. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you were able to enjoy that. I don't know what to say.
It was delicious.
It was great.
Who was your favorite?
Consume
we
my
lost
tears.
this year. Like, I don't know what to say, guys. It's really sad.
Enjoy death.
All right, so we're gonna jump right back in. We are so overtime right now. So, best fantasy film this year. Who votes for Christopher Robin? Who votes for House with Clock in the Walls? Who votes for Bright?
The movie was dope.
And who votes for Shape of Water?
I'm just like,
Okay,
people
so
fucking
Bright
bitches.
wins
I am
here.
all about it.
Shape of Water won our fans over.
I really wish I had seen that one.
It was
Because like
very good.
everything
Yeah.
about it seems like something I'd like. I wish I had seen it.
I'm all about the fish bestiality.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's what he looks for specifically in his movie choices.
It's good to know.
If I can say one thing about
Explains a
Bright,
lot.
Yeah.
I like that it takes this crazy premise and it puts it behind it, you know, and then the movie starts and this world already exists. Like, I like that
I
it
agree.
doesn't go and explain this whole huge backstory of how the characters relate to why this world exists. It just assumes the world exists and it puts you in it.
I like that too a lot. It
Are you
was
talking
very
about D&D
appealing.
with Will Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I liked
I think it's
Bright.
fun.
Critical Role, 20, you lost.
Anyway, I think The House with the Clock in Its Walls is really underrated. That was a joy to watch. That
It was.
film.
It was very
It looked
fun.
much like a kid movie, though.
It is a
was
kid
Actually,
movie,
a lot
but
of
it's
kids
not a
were
bad
terrified
film.
of the movie.
Wow.
It was
Like
a joy.
Coraline.
Like they just don't make movies like that anymore. Spooky movies, you know, not like horror films. It's just kind of spooky.
Spooky.
But
Spoopy.
Yeah, I really liked it. Moving on. Best supervillain in a series. A lot of bald white men here.
I quoted that.
Yeah, you did. I stole it from you. Wilson Fisk, Kingpin, Bushmaster, Shadow King, Bullseye, and Tobias Whale. So we've got 2 from Daredevil, 1 from Luke Cage. Shadow King is from Legion, and Tobias Whale's from Black Lightning. Who votes for Wilson Fisk?
boom.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I think he's one of my all-time favorite villains.
I can't take a villain named Bushmaster seriously. Are you kidding me?
Did you
didn't
watch?
watch
Wait, wait,
it.
did you watch it?
No.
He's
was
the
great,
name
well,
of
then
a
there's your
snake
problem.
and the name
Yeah.
of a drug.
He's
The
basically
villains in
killed
that
him.
show are all named after snakes, pretty much.
I can't take it. Nope.
Okay.
He's basically killed
Well,
him.
that man can, master my bush. He was
Oh,
fantastic.
God.
Well,
All right.
You're
So
you're welcome.
Sorry.
That pretty much took the table. It
Yeah.
majority it won our fans as
Kingpin.
well. So it's
Vincent D'Onofrio is
He's just great.
unbelievable.
it's hard
Yeah.
to beat him.
He
Yeah.
gets in your head.
Shadow
Yeah,
King
Daredevil
was
would agree
probably
that
the
it's hard to
most
beat him.
frightening.
Season 1. I'd say season 1 of Legion, Shadow King. If this were season 1, I'd like hands down.
Yeah.
But this season, he's great, but he's not as relevant as he was the
You're saying
first
season 1 would be better than Wilson Fisk? Come on.
Yeah.
No.
Did you watch
Yeah.
Legion?
Yeah.
Did you not think that? I'm not gonna argue it. Let's go to the next one.
All right, moving on.
Best film soundtrack. So Sorry to Bother You, The Greatest Showman. I said that weird. Deadpool
you did.
2,
That's Cool Joel?
She's killing it right here.
Black Panther, and A Star Is Born. So
Got to the rest of those.
anybody voting for Sorry to Bother You?
That was a weird movie. I don't know if
Wasn't it?
anyone saw it. That ending just. I don't even know.
Deadpool 2.
That's the only one I've seen on the list. So.
Okay. Black Panther.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess it's not like
So 1 and 1.
Greatest Showman.
Another one.
And then A Star Is Born.
Yeah, 4.
Thank you.
Greatest Showman won over our fans.
I don't know.
Well,
Great
they're
Show was
wrong
only
again,
the
so
Yeah,
it's
but
top
like, have
3
you seen Lady
selling
Gaga
Oh,
soundtrack
Bradley
ever.
Calm it
So,
down,
singing,
we're not
just
arguing.
saying.
And Celine Dion sells out Las Vegas. Doesn't mean they're great. Come on.
Hugh Jackman.
P.T. Barnum owned people. Like, I'm pretty sure that
That has
makes him
nothing
a
to do with
slave
you, Jack.
trader.
I'll say this though, if straight up sales are what define it, then we have to stop making fun of Venom because it's making a fortune.
Yeah.
it is.
So it's pick, you gotta pick. So
It's self-aware. The movie is hilarious.
so Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga are both absolutely outstanding in this film. Their voices are phenomenal. The music is awesome. The only soundtrack I think that even possibly rivals it this year is Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a biopic and it's
Yeah.
not really a fair comparison.
It did not make our list because it came out like 3 days later. So it'll be
Next
on
year.
next year.
Right.
Right? So like, I mean, for me, it's no question. The Greatest Showman it's a musical, and it's very much a musical, and it's Hugh Jackman, and
There was another musical that came out this year, and it was Mamma Mia 2. And
Oh yeah.
Back at it again.
Electric
We're back in the action.
That's
Like
the
your
one.
Boogaloo.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
The only thing I have to say for Black Panther is go check out a podcast called Song Exploder. A guy interviews a composer or someone in the music industry and gets them to explain how they created their music. And I forget who the guy is who did this score for Black Panther, but he's done a million things. He's super famous. The links that he went to record the sounds that he did are incredible. And I did not appreciate the soundtrack until I went back to that podcast and
That's pretty
heard it
impressive.
through that.
Wow.
lens.
That's
I
cool.
like that. Okay, so moving on. Best superhero in a series. We have Eclipse from The Gifted, Quake from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Punisher from Daredevil from The Punisher, and White Canary from Legion of
Daredevil.
Jeez.
You're killing it tonight.
Legend of Tomorrow.
That in
Sorry.
memoriam really threw you off.
Dear.
I need to not take breaks, guys. Okay, as much as The Gifted is great, I want to say that I don't think individual characters work as well separately as much as they do together. So I'm going to say that no one here is going to vote for Eclipse. So anybody voting for Quake?
I think she's great,
But
and she's gotten better, but there's better on this
she's
list.
up against, Okay, anybody voting for White Canary?
White Canary again is great. Legends of Tomorrow is actually really good. Don't sleep on it. You know, the last couple seasons have been surprisingly amazing, but as an individual character.
Okay, so who at this table is voting for Daredevil? We're all voting for Punisher? Is that how this is going to go?
My problem is I don't really know who to vote for
I have no opinion.
on this list. Like, I'm tempted to vote for White Canary simply because if I had to just pick one of these to watch, I'd rather watch her.
Okay.
You know, so I kind of have to stay out, I think.
So who says Punisher? All right,
Really
that's
like that
4.
Punisher, all right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Not what the fans said too.
Fran said Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
Best
It was
superhero
good.
TV series. These were the top 6 rated seasons this last year. They have on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes the highest critical acclaim as well as audience. So we've got Legion, The Gifted, Punisher, Daredevil, Legends of Tomorrow, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anybody voting for Legion? Anybody voting for Gifted? Anybody voting for Punisher?
Yep.
We got 3 of them. Daredevil,
See, I wanted to do that one too, but
Yeah.
I voted Punisher.
Legends of Tomorrow,
That's me.
written.
Legends
and
Tomorrow.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, so Punisher wins. I think Punisher won on the...
It's just the
fans
best
as well.
written one. I mean, don't get me wrong, season 3 of Daredevil was really good, but
It was okay.
Punisher is just,
It was okay.
the writing was just phenomenal.
Daredevil's kind of been a disappointment.
Because I started out, we'll have
You can listen to one
discuss
of our
that.
podcasts.
Yeah,
where
we
talk
did
about
cover it,
that,
yeah.
so.
But my vote's, Legends of Tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, best shooting video game, shooter video game. I don't know, like,
Again.
that's where you take a gun and kill someone.
Or
So the nominees in this category are...
Duck Hunter.
Okay. We have
Duck
Battlefield...
Hunts. Thank you very
Duck
much.
Hunts. We have Battlefield
This is
5,
the sequel.
Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Far Cry 5, and Star Wars Battlefront 2.
So Far Cry 5 won by a landslide.
Yeah, it's,
Everything else got like 1 vote
It's
apiece.
like a groundbreaking game. Call of Duty is just the same shit we've got the past 10 years, so
Well,
I'm done.
I mean,
Yes.
every single one
never
of them,
own my
there's not
money.
a single original game on that list.
I agree, but Call of Duty
Even
is-
Battlefront 2 is actually Battlefront like 5.
right.
Who has done something original? Probably Far Cry.
within the game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
definitely.
All these
not-
other games
yeah.
literally just...
Well, even Call of Duty going back to World War II, they did a World War II game like back on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So it's Battlefield in space. It's it's men who fought in World War II, somehow survived, and now are in the future.
What?
And then,
No. The game takes place during World War II.
I know. It's
Okay.
just like the
No,
same game.
Far Cry 5 was the only game of those that I played, but I put a lot of hours into it, which is pretty telling for me. And it's the only game on that list. I'm very confident in this, even though I haven't played the other ones, where you can actually shoot a shovel out of a gun and take down helicopters with it. That is a thing.
Ian, that's in Battlefront, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it
You
is.
can like shoot Grievous out of the gun and you just like crawl
Right.
on things. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to vote for Far Cry 5. I actually have not played a single game on this list. I play games all day, every day, but these aren't my speed. But Far Cry 5, I really appreciate that it has taken...
It's embraced its ridiculousness.
It took... I mean, look at all the stuff we have going on in politics and stuff right now. For them to, like, get a whole big studio like that, to own it, I mean, to go all in on the idea of, like, we're going to go in the middle of nowhere in Montana. It's going to be about a militia. There's going to be a cult. There's going to be all this stuff. They didn't half-ass anything. And
The ending was extremely surprising if you haven't...
Well, so many studios are too afraid to just piss people off because everything's a controversy and stuff. And so I really appreciate that they did it. They wanted to do it, and they went, they committed.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
That's why Far Cry 5 gets my vote too. I mean, the premise is just, I mean, yes, it's in an existing franchise, sure, but they went all in.
It's the first one in the United States too.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Good choice.
Not a lot of Montana shooters.
This one was tough.
Best horror series, we have The Haunting of Hill House, Ash vs. Evil Dead, Castle Rock, American Horror Story, Cult, and The Walking Dead. I will say fans almost
Is that this season of
unanimously...
Walking Dead or
Mhm.
last season of Walking Dead?
I-
Because this one's only at the mid-season.
Yeah.
The fans pick
it's-
Haunting, right?
Yeah, the fans did pick Haunting.
I
That's
was-
so
written.
good.
There was a
So good.
no cut episode, a whole episode no cut.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It looked like there was no cut, or there was really no
No,
cut.
it was no
Which
cut.
episode?
I know what you're talking about. The one where this girl dies and the whole thing is shot in the funeral home.
Oh, that one. No, there were some cuts. But there was that one long continuous cut that
It's
you're
a
talking
long.
about. It's like a...
I'm just saying that's a
20-minute
huge
cut.
feat, especially for a horror.
Horror shows aren't really for me. Normally, the only one of these I watched at all was Ash. So.
You would appreciate the writing in that one.
Yeah, well, and the thing to say about that is that yes, it's a horror series, but it's not. It's just.
It's so much more, too.
It is, and like I'm terrified to watch. I've watched a couple of episodes, and I wasn't scared like I
Right.
am with a horror.
Just wait until you get
series.
more
Like,
into it. There's some stuff.
I mean, I love Ash, and it is ridiculous and fun, but like from a writing standpoint, dude, Haunting is just.
I love
hands
Haunting.
down,
It was
like,
great, yeah.
just really
Yeah.
good.
And then Ryan, you voted for The Walking Dead.
I did, yeah, which I want to vote for Ash, but I haven't seen the newest season. So, and Walking Dead has gotten better. There was a rough patch in there. Last season was not its best, but this season has been much better, and part of that season is taking place in the year. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's of this list, it's the only one I've watched the newest season of. So
All right. Let's move on. Best drama film, I, Tonya, Superfly, A Star is Born, Black Klansman, and Murder on the Orient Express.
I think I know what you guys are gonna vote for.
Yeah?
It's the. I mean, so A Star is Born is the only one I've
That's
seen
what I
on
was
this
gonna
list.
say.
That's the only one I've seen on this list. I'm not sure that it deserves to win necessarily because it's also the fourth
Black
version
Klansman was
of the
amazing.
story. So
It was good.
And
I'm
it deals
actually-
with racism on a very large scale. So
I'm voting I, Tonya because of Margot Robbie's, just her performance alone in that movie was ridiculously good, and yeah, overall it was a really good flick.
Mine's Star is Born, just because it was fantastic.
Okay. Anybody else? The fans picked A Star is Born, but it was more spread out. There was at least 3 votes for every single film out there, which, you know, it's kind of impressive since
Mhm.
everything else has been, like, landsliding.
Yeah.
So, it only won by 1 or 2.
Murder was shit. I just have to say it.
I haven't seen
It was just bad. Like
It's
as a
difficult.
movie.
I don't think you can properly film an Agatha Christie novel. Like, she made
Exactly.
her stuff so complex that you don't have.
It should have been a 2
The
or 3
time.
parter. If
Yeah.
you gotta spend the time.
Yeah.
You can't just do it all in one film. All right, let's move on.
Best comedy series: The Good Place, Barry, Atlanta, Crashing, and Glow.
I haven't seen any of
The
these.
Good Place beat Glow by 1 vote.
Glow is good. This
The Good Place gets my vote. I think it is the smartest sitcom I've ever seen, and I love sitcoms.
You do.
It's brilliant. I love it. It's got an amazing cast that even works better when they're all in the same room. The sets are super cool. The premise is completely unique. It continues to evolve and just gets better.
I do love The Good Place, but I think Glow deals with more important issues while still having the comedy, which I appreciate a lot, and I think is probably a little more difficult to write. But Good Place is a very good sitcom for what it is. I think that on any given day I might switch back, but I would probably give my vote to Glow.
Well, and Glow is focused on such a small scale, whereas The Good Place is so large and they have so much to work with. Glow is kind of like we're focusing on 12 people that are real people in real life and a story of a real situation.
Yeah, I mean, The Good Place really only focuses on like 6 people.
Yeah, but it's like a universe, right? They can do whatever they want, right? Because they've made this up. Glow they're kind of following a path on Glow because this is real people and that this actually happened. Like the ending where they go to Las Vegas is actually where they ended up.
Sure, I'm not sure that picking source material based on reality just automatically is a
I'm saying it was more
bonus,
challenging.
but
Yeah.
they chose to pick that topic, right? So
And they executed it excellently.
okay. Anybody else?
This is probably my worst category because I've watched at least a little bit of every single one of these shows, and they all are probably 5 of the best comedies I've seen in a really long time, and they all happen to be running simultaneously. So The Good Place is the only one I'm completely caught up with, but I mean, any given day I could vote for one or the other. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just 5-way split. It's insane.
The voting went with who?
The Good Place by 1 vote over Glow.
Okay.
Best sci-fi film. So we have 2 Star Wars films in this one, Solo and The Last Jedi. There's also Hotel Artemis, Sorry to Bother You, and Annihilation. Solo easily swept this category on our social media.
I just have to say it again. Sorry to bother you. You would never think of sci-fi until you watch it to the end. And you're
Really?
like, what the fuck? Yeah, no, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sci-fi film. I mean, Solo, I think, is highly underrated, mainly because people just didn't see it after the backlash from The Last Jedi, which is unfortunate because I do think...
Also, the behind
It
the
was
scenes
actually really
controversy.
good.
And you're right. The behind-the-scenes stuff was huge. I do think, at a minimum, Solo's better than The Last Jedi. But
down.
unfortunately, those are the only 2 I saw. So
I saw Annihilation. I walked out going, what the fuck did I
Exactly.
watch?
It's a movie that you're just like, if you were high, this was great. Otherwise, what's going on? What was
really
explained?
It was very
Yeah.
weird. It was visually kind of cool, and the premise was interesting, but other than that, it was very muddled, I guess would be a good word. But Solo, I think, was my vote.
Solo's mine.
Yeah.
anybody else?
No, Solo was hands down.
Best animated kid series, Elena of Avalor, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, DuckTales, The Dragon Prince, and Star vs. the Forces of Evil. All very highly rated shows, very popular on their there's only one new show. Everything else is at least 3 seasons or more.
You know on Dragon Prince?
Yeah.
And I just finished that.
It's amazing.
It's really good.
It is so
Not better than Stephen Yu, but
Good.
much good.
Much good?
Much better than I thought it would
much
be.
good.
Much good.
And then, of course, Adventure Time broke our hearts this year.
It was the ending.
It was
Yeah. So
finale.
The
what
end.
did the fans say? Because I feel like it's
Yeah.
either going to be Adventure Time or DuckTales.
It was DuckTales.
Yeah.
What? I haven't seen that.
I know,
I've seen
it's-
all of these
it's
except for
really
that
cute.
one.
I adore DuckTales. That's where it gets my vote. It's such great
It's
storytelling. David
I need to check
Tennant
it out.
is a perfect Uncle Scrooge. This is really top-notch storytelling. It's
Great voice cast. The animation's super cool.
surprising. I thought they were going to be one and done episodes, very, contained, but no. It's a whole story arc, and it has a much deeper plot than you would ever think.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, no, Dragon Prince got my vote
It was
100
good.
times over.
Yeah, it was really good. That ending too.
yeah,
Cliffhanger.
definitely.
I'm just not done with Dragon Prince, but I'm caught up on DuckTales, so
Fair enough.
that's where I'm at.
So what won the vote? I'm sorry, DuckTales?
DuckTales
Which one
won.
did you vote for, Ryan?
I didn't vote for any.
Oh, okay.
Best animated adult series, Castlevania, The Venture Bros, Disenchantment, BoJack Horseman, Big Mouth, and Rick
This
and
was
Morty.
hard.
Yeah,
It was so
they're-
hard.
very hard.
Literally
Like,
twisted
phrasing.
my arms,
Uh-huh.
and I went back and forth
Out
and
of all
edited,
these?
deleted.
And yeah, this is hard.
Disenchantment has the worst critical reviews.
Right.
However, I
'Cause it's not
think
a good
it's
show.
But it got my vote.
Shut
That's the
your
weird
poor
thing.
mouth.
It's not a good
No,
show.
because you haven't
It
watched
is,
the Venture
though.
Bros.
It isn't.
Venture
I-
Bros is.
It was not.
Venture Bros. We're supposed to
Yeah,
be-
that was you and me. I love Venture Brothers so
this
much.
season
Big Mouth was
especially.
hilarious.
Best parody.
I mean, BoJack Horseman has been really strong, and this season was good, but I thought last season dealt with a lot more serious issues.
Yeah. You know, I'm excited to see him cast as the horse in the new Witcher upcoming.
Oh, please no.
And if Castlevania was a movie, it would be the best video game adaptation.
Ooh.
But because it's
a show,
TV show,
yeah.
it is phenomenal.
See, I was told that I
that's-
can't watch that without playing the game.
No.
No,
No.
it's not even the same.
I
Okay.
have never played the game, and none of them.
You will still
I know.
enjoy
That's why I haven't
know.
seen it yet,
I'm
so
not
that's
into
why I
Metroidvania
wanted-
games.
okay.
2 seasons,
But-
8 episodes, like,
Dude,
do it.
Watch that show.
So
It's an incredibly popular show, and I guarantee not that everybody watching it has played those games.
It's
Okay.
good.
then the
It's good.
fans say, I'm gonna guess Rick and Morty. Did they guess?
Rick and Morty wins.
Rick and Morty
season-
was my vote.
Okay,
Of
but
course
this
it was.
season was just not as strong.
Womp womp.
Like, there was
I-
great
it-
standalone
I agree
episodes.
with that. I agree.
Sure,
With that.
yeah, well, not as strong, but still better than.
BoJack had a really good season, though.
All right,
Definitely
best
Castlevania though.
animated
We're coming down the
film.
home stretch.
Okay, best animated films.
I think I
Teen
know what you're
Titans
gonna
go
You do
to
know
the
what I'm
movies.
going
Isle of Dogs, Incredibles 2, and Coco. Coco won by 1 vote over Incredibles.
Really?
I-
Coco was amazing.
Just one question: How many of these had a Stan Lee cameo?
Isle of Dogs, I thought was the only one.
Was that the only one?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Wes Anderson is a huge Stan Lee fan.
I'd say Teen Titans Go to the movies was so good that they got Stan Lee to do a cameo in
They
a
did.
DC movie.
Can I ask you why Wreck-It Ralph didn't make this? Because I
Because
would
it came out after.
That's in November.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
it'll
an
be on next
excellent
year.
That'll be in contention.
That'll be
for
next year.
Very good.
So what I enjoyed about Coco is that they actually delve into Dia de los Muertos, where you are learning about why they do the things that they do, and like I really, really enjoyed that about the film, just like cultural education that
It's
presented.
easily the
like,
most beautiful film.
Absolutely.
The music's good.
Like you look at the pedals going across the bridge and just
Just absolutely gorgeous.
it was so good.
And I gotta say, as a fan of the person, I grew up with the original Teen Titans. I did go see Teen Titans Go to the movies, and I did enjoy it.
You
It was
did
cute.
or did
I
not?
did.
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
was surprised. I'm like, oh, well, fuck me. That was actually pretty
If
good.
you just don't take it like go in expecting the
Yeah.
original, it's actually a lot of fun.
This was a fun little popcorn movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I feel like Coco gets a bump because it's a Pixar film. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong. I just find his family to be completely unbelievable.
Oh, I hate his family.
I find it hard to believe that family exists. That like, yep, we'd rather you be dead
Right.
than play the guitar.
I totally
Like,
agree.
Yeah.
Like if you truly meant that
And
as a parent, grandparent type person,
shit.
like I have some questions.
Yes. Yes.
It's the major plot driver, which bugs me too.
Right, the
Like, I
entire
thought that
movie
the
is
whole
predicated on
And
that.
can we just talk about Dante, the dorky dog? Like, I love that they throw like these dorky little animal things into these movies now. Like with Moana, you had Hey Hey the chicken, and this one
Yeah.
is Dante. It's just a
And
fun.
that was played by
little-
Alan Tudyk, which was hilarious. I love Hey
It's
Hey.
just fun.
he plays a lot of it.
That just feels more like Disney forcing their hand on Pixar than anything else, though. That's a
Yeah,
very
that's
Disney
true.
trope.
It's a rule.
right?
You
Yeah.
have to have a quirky sidekick animal thing.
Derpy dog.
Yeah, and I tried watching Isle of Dogs, but then I left with the refund because it was horrible. So
It's Wes Anderson. You either like Wes Anderson or
no,
you don't
I think
like Wes
he's a
Anderson.
tool.
So
So
then
no.
you're not going to like a Wes Anderson
He's
movie.
very
I
stylized.
I don't like
Yeah.
him. No.
I
So-
honestly thought Incredibles would take it, but I know it's close. So
The problem with Incredibles 2 is after I got out of the theater, I was super hyped and I loved it and I was really excited. And the more I think about it, the less I like the movie, which is really disappointing
Yeah.
because the first one is one of my favorite films.
Yep.
It was extremely predictable. I think was a big problem I had. You know,
It was the same film one more time.
Yeah.
which
Right.
was-
That and I
Isn't
missed
it
it
the
the
roles
first
reversed,
time
basically?
because they changed some stuff, and then you look back and you're like, it is literally the
Well,
same.
because I
premise.
had just watched the first movie the week before, and
Oh,
because
yeah.
I wanted to, I was like, I want to compare the two.
Yeah,
And I literally left the movie going, it was nothing different. It was literally the exact same.
I never got to
film.
see it because there were too
12
many kids
years
in the
later.
theater, so I'm like, eh.
So where's the voting then?
Oh, for us here, okay, raise your hand for Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
I actually like that one.
Two
It's
for
Okay,
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Incredibles, Coco,
3 for Coco. Okay, so
Isle
Coco
of
takes
Dogs.
it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best RPG video game. All right, so we had a lot of fun with this one, didn't we, guys?
so fun.
Unfortunately, RPG has become such a open term that most video games can be included in this, so we went with the top 5 rated ones and best-selling ones this year. And next year we promise to have more subgenres to include more things. So.
Has anybody here played Tomb Raider?
Yes.
Yeah, it's excellent.
It,
haven't played it yet.
doesn't have like an
pretty good.
open world, but it has
It's
like
on rails, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know the other 4 are open world, but
God of War still is on rails though. It's not.
I was going to say, God of War is
yeah, you're
pretty
right,
much
yeah.
on rails.
yeah, like wait,
They're kind of like Gears of War games.
It's open, but there's
Yeah.
still like
Yeah.
a you know.
There's an exploratory
It's limited.
area.
Yeah,
but
Yes.
yeah,
There we
because
go.
like you said, like RPGs, there are RPG elements in so many games now because so it's hard, it's really hard to define what these games are. Obviously, they're all big AAA games. They've got very well defined environments and all that stuff. Man, these are really good lists. This is a really good list of
what'd you
video
vote
games.
for?
I feel like Red Dead took it. For me.
Red Dead did.
See, Red Dead does a lot of things well.
Why?
As from a technical standpoint, it's very impressive. I haven't played it, but from what I've heard, it goes downhill after about the first half or 3/4. Something happens in the game, and it turns into like fetch quests.
I've been seeing that on Reddit actually.
No, I have a
been
couple
complaining
people
about
that have played the game 60 hours plus, and they've said they just don't enjoy it. It's just not fun.
And that's the
there's no
trouble.
guidance.
I've yet to find a single person who's told me it's a fun experience.
Right.
It's impressive. Nobody, I don't think, is going to question how impressive the mechanical feat is to build and produce that game.
Which is why I'm actually surprised that Spider-Man wasn't the winner for our fans, because that game has a very high fan reviews that if people started the game, they continued, they finished it, and they loved it from start to finish. So
Well, that I think also the voting for this happened like 3 weeks or 2 weeks after Red Dead came out.
that's true.
So I think that hype was still on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I voted for God of War personally.
God of War was excellent,
I
voted
loved
for
it.
Odyssey.
but I
It
still
was
went for
so good.
Odyssey.
Okay, so
Yeah.
God
See,
of War for me, the
haven't
problem
finished.
with it was a movie and not a video game.
There was a lot of cinematics. He's right
I'm okay
about
with that though because the cinematics were beautiful.
They
I
were
loved
good.
it.
No, but I think that's a fair point though, because I've played several movies that are like this that lose me early on. Even the beginning
You said
of
you've
Horizon
played
Zero
several
Dawn.
movies.
Well, it's basically
That's what I thought he said too.
That's the thing, right? I don't.
Basically.
When I buy a video game for $60, I expect to be doing things more often than not, right? And when there are a substantial number of cutscenes, like there's a reason movies are a lot cheaper, right? Because it is cheaper to produce one set of story than a branching thing where you
Right.
can climb all over the world. So I'm with you there.
I think a lot of the cutscenes weren't. They were cutscenes, but you were controlling a boat through like this a slow moving boat through like a canal or something.
While
so
they're talking,
you were
yeah.
doing something, but you weren't really
Yeah.
doing
Well,
anything.
yeah, I mean, that's actually my biggest gripe with Red Dead is, like, I really love the pace of it, and, like, I'm still at the beginning of the game, even though I put a ton of hours into it. That's a slow burn for me. Like, I have no intention of going any more quickly than I am right now. I like the slow pace, but also I'm just chilling and taking in the sights and listening to dialogue and stuff. But I really like that. I haven't even played God of War, but I've watched my buddy play it, and I think on this list, I think I'd vote for God of War. Because I like the combat elements, but I really love that lore, the drip feed in between. Because I really like that kind of pacing, but I 100% understand that that's not what people go to God of War for.
I
or
voted
to a
for
lot of
Assassin's Creed because
Creed as well.
once you get past the fact that's
See,
not
I'm
like
finished
the
Origins yet,
original
or else I would have
Assassin's
voted
Creed.
for Odyssey because
It's the
I
same
played Odyssey.
game.
That's what I heard too.
With
Greeks.
Greeks, yeah.
That's why I don't want to play it
That's
too.
why, I voted for Tomb Raider, but I can guarantee had I put any time into Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Origins was amazing. So
I love Origins so
And
much.
feel
it's
like
literally
Odyssey would be just
Origins
as great.
except, I mean, I would call it straight reskin, but it's very, very similar
Yeah,
combat and
so-
everything.
Is that a problem?
No, I'm not
No.
saying it's
I'm more interested in this subject,
Well, I
which
want
is
to
why
play the same
Origins.
game if it's the same. I want something different.
the story is great in both of them, but I'm saying the gameplay.
The
and all that is
engine
all
that
the
it's
same.
built off of, the mechanics that it's built off of are very
It does have
similar.
microtransactions,
Yeah.
so if that's a problem for you, then
Has what?
Microtransactions, which I know is not a problem for you because you
You
play
love
Battlefront.
paying-
So
Dave's
Right, right?
for a
Same.
while now.
So just from a social aspect, I really appreciate that God of War, Red Dead, and Assassin's Creed have gotten more socially responsible. In their original games, all of them included sexual assault on women.
Yeah.
And they were
They
were
did.
just in like the side. Like you'd be
It was a
doing
side
your
quest to go fuck someone and then
you
kill
would
them.
see like this woman get raped in the corner. Just like so,
Yeah.
I appreciate that all that stuff is gone now because it's made all three of these very enjoyable for me. Where in the others, I felt really like skeezy playing.
You don't
them.
see one titty in God of War in this one.
That's amazing.
Oh,
I
there's
think
one
it's
titty.
because
I
a
didn't
small
know that.
child.
Now we know
You
we
see
get to play it.
You see a man titty, but you don't see a woman titty.
All right, so Red Dead though won the fan vote
It did.
by a good margin.
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
saying, so.
by
So I
quite.
vetoed that.
Man,
real
that's
quick.
baloney.
Yeah.
It's a good game, but it's not.
So
I mean,
But you're not
it's-
having fun, right?
It's one of the, that's the thing.
Let's be real.
It's one
the
of
other
those
ones are
things.
amazing, and they're also condensed. So
Red Dead's gonna win Game of the Year
Yeah.
because of what it is,
That's
right?
how I'm
And
feeling
that's the problem.
it's the
right?
Oscar thing. You release right before they cut off, and you're fresh in everybody's mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
and then freaking Rockstar, they wait 7 years between a release. The only game that's ever made more money when it came
GTA
out was their other game.
Yeah.
Was their
5
last
was
game.
amazing.
So
Well, they put all their money into graphics. They don't have to worry about
Dude,
story.
no, five has multiple levels of story.
All right, so we gotta move on.
Best
I know.
superhero in a film. So we have Venom, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Thor. So for the record, Black Panther in his own movie, Thor in Thor Ragnarok, and Doctor Strange in Infinity War. Because DC only released one film in this time span, and Marvel released 6, this is what we have.
Yeah.
Well, just to specify, not Marvel Studios didn't release 6. 'cause some
From
of these
Marvel
are Fox.
Comics. These are all Marvel
And Sony and-
heroes
yeah.
from the comics. I originally had Ant-Man up there instead of Venom, but it's hard to ignore Venom's popularity when he's made more than all of those movies except for Infinity
He's
War.
made more than Wonder Woman right now. Wonder
Yeah.
Woman's
He should have
huge.
been up for comedy, because in this movie he just said, "Why are you saving the world? Because I'm a loser, and it'd be
Well,
awesome."
you know, in the
That's it.
comics, Venom is a horrifying character. It's a multiple personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and Eddie's always like at odds. And here it's just like, Eddie, I want Funyuns. Like, so
He's stoned all the time.
completely reduce the character. Okay, who
Comedy.
votes for Venom? Who votes for Doctor Strange? Who votes for Deadpool? Who votes for Black Panther? Who votes for Thor?
Thor.
All right, Thor wins in this one just as like
It's
he
just
did in the
excellent.
fans.
Like,
Oh, really?
Ragnarok
Yeah.
was- I just watched it again.
So
It's that
good.
good.
Ragnarok's
man,
just a joy
that's
to watch.
actually closer than the more I think about it, I might have to go for Thor on that too.
It was a wonderful movie.
Wonderful
So
movie. It
good.
really was.
Black Panther was really good too. Thor had better CGI.
We talked about this on our
Yeah.
podcast, but I think Black Panther was given more credit because of its social relevancy rather than the
Yeah.
actual quality of the
Right.
movie. Whereas
I mean-
Thor was purely about the quality of the movie.
I like Killmonger more than Black Panther himself.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, that was a Killmonger movie, and then Thor 3 was properly a Thor movie that I really enjoyed. The first 2 Thor movies, I thought they were okay.
It's difficult to compare them because one is almost an origin story, right? Where the villain is, I personally think, the best villain we've seen in a Marvel Studios film so
He's
far.
more compelling than the hero is.
Exactly, right? And then you're comparing it to Thor Ragnarok, which is the third movie in a trilogy that also includes Hulk.
But it was basically a reboot.
Right.
Because it's a totally different Thor than what was in the previous movie.
There's a huge problem. They didn't know how to do superhero fantasy. And Wonder Woman figured it out in the first film. So, you know, maybe if they would have had Patty Jenkins stay on and not fire her, Thor 2 would have
I
been a lot
forgot she was in
better.
the beginning.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's just kind of the Thor is just such a standout in his own movie, whereas Black Panther kind of gets pushed to the side because Killmonger is
Was
just
so
so
good.
compelling.
Yeah.
You know. Okay.
Okay, moving on. Best superhero film. This is our last one of the
What
night.
about the fans on that one too? Did they vote for Thor?
They did, yes. Yes, so best superhero film, again, all Marvel stories. This one does include Ant-Man. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, Deadpool 2. Sorry guys, I'm sorry. Avengers, Infinity War, Thor, Ragnarok, Venom, and Black Panther. Who is voting for Ant-Man and the Wasp?
None.
Okay, who's voting for Deadpool 2?
None.
Who's voting for Venom?
You skipped one.
Nope, I didn't.
You
Who-
just-
Saving it for she knows.
Yeah,
Okay,
who's
fine.
voting for Black Panther?
I
One.
like Black
Oh,
Panther.
man, that's hard.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Who's
great.
voting for
Infinity
Thor
War,
Ragnarok?
Thor.
Who's voting for Infinity War?
Infinity War was like this runner.
I don't know. I'm Thor, Black Panther. I don't know if I can pick one.
Yeah.
See, my problem with Infinity War, we talked about this in the review, is that it's only half a movie.
Right.
Right.
You know, whereas everything else on this list is a story that can stand on
Well,
its
and
own.
you know, like the ending, and you're just like, yeah, it's gonna be all done.
That's
It's
right.
for nothing.
There's
It's
Yeah.
for nothing.
This is
So,
fine.
the Avengers 4 trailer keeps getting delayed. I'm actually hoping they cancel the movie altogether. And I can finally make my mind
so
up about
pretentious,
Infinity
though.
War.
It's just so pretentious.
Netflix cancels Avengers 4.
So, did Avengers win though with the fans?
Avengers
I
1.
knew it because it was a
I
close
figured,
runner-up, but I
yeah.
agree with Derek.
More
Yeah,
people saw it.
Why?
I think people just like seeing a bunch of heroes on screen.
I think more
regardless
people
of
saw
what
it.
happens.
I mean,
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying,
So it's
popularity.
purely numbers.
And I think that's fair too.
What's going to happen after Infinity War's done and people are like, okay, so the next one's going to have
What's the
like
next big event?
200 heroes, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
thing, right? Avengers 4
So
is
House
gonna
of
have
M
to-
is really the next big event, but
well,
I don't think they'll get into
probably
that.
Secret War would be.
With
Since they're just introducing the Skrulls,
Skrulls,
and the
absolutely.
Russo brothers said that they would not come back to Marvel unless it was for Secret War, which is not an accidental statement.
right,
So-
right.
Yeah, right.
These are our terms. Let's meet.
We're writing our paycheck right now.
Yeah.
Secret
Okay.
Wars is like top three of the biggest events. All right.
So guys, that is it. Those are the Screen Heroes Awards. You can check out our website in the next couple of days. We'll have a list of the winners on just a regular article. I'll get that published for everybody.
And this episode will be
Absolutely.
on the
It's-
Screen Heroes
Yes.
feed. So
Yeah, it's on Thursdays. It'll drop, so you can listen to this extra long podcast, our longest show of the year. I'll let everybody plug their shows and their social media, and then we'll kind of do our credits. So, John, do you do stuff? Do you want people
We
to
do
contact you?
Yeah. As I used to say before I reached legend status,
God.
if you want something cool that's gaming or movie, or you want a prop, you want something that you want to display in your home or wear as a costume, Buster Props has your back. Come find us. Where can they find us, Ryan?
On the internet.
On the World Wide
you guys are
Web.
killing me.
Buster Props.
That's
Yep.
right. Type it in.
Mike's over here. Mike's over here, John.
He keeps yelling at the camera.
I want them to acknowledge me. Look me in
There's
the eye.
no mic over
Look
there.
me in the eye.
Yeah.
Buster Props, all social medias, just about. So, especially on Etsy, make those orders.
All right.
Ryan, do you feel
What
like
he
you
said.
need to add anything?
Ditto.
I pressured everybody.
Thomas.
Check out the Gamer Heroes podcast on Twitter, and me and the other three guys at GGKC. We're all over the place, but you should visit our website at gg.kc.com. We do game stuff and Kansas City stuff, so check us out.
I'm Siren Rae, cosplayer and professional shit talker on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Ian.
I'm Ian. You can find me on the Echo Station podcast at Echo Station Cast on Twitter. Instagram is House of Turner Cosplay, along with my Facebook
But how do you
page,
spell it?
which Haus, because I'm fancy.
It's German.
Yes, it's German.
German.
And then don't forget to check out Costume Couture as well.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in between social medias at the moment. Is that a thing? Are you gonna be like in between?
I'm like, I got my
I'm
foot
going
in
through a phase
Instagram,
right
but I'm
now.
still kind of
So-
partial over here.
Yeah, again, we're going to be launching a new podcast under the network soon, discussing a certain anime. Me and Ray here, and again with Rob Fury, so that'll be coming pretty soon, and I'm sure I'll have social media for
Is
that.
it One Punch Man? Because I want to join you.
First of all,
Guest.
no, and secondly, if it was, I wouldn't tell you, because I'm not
Devilman, hey, Devilman Crybaby better make
I
it.
like it.
So,
Oh yeah, they are.
That was amazing.
All right. I am the Star Trek Dude on Twitter and Facebook. You can find me on Red Shirts and Runabouts as well, our Star Trek podcast. We are the Heroes Podcast Network. Benjamin.
Okay, calm down, Sailor Moon.
So you can.
He was supposed to connect my
Venture
V.
Brothers.
I'm sorry. You can find us at heroespodcasts.com or at Heroes Podcasts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and Patreon. The Screen Heroes Podcast is at Screen Heroes Pod on Twitter. One quick thing, we have launched a TeePublic store to help bring in some money for the show to help us buy better equipment, like better cameras, more microphones, better microphones.
And in the process, we all got really cool swag.
We're all wearing the shirts. Yeah, if you're watching the feed, we're all wearing the cool swag up. We took some photos beforehand that'll be going up on social media in
They're
the next
comfy. The
few
printing looks
weeks.
really nice, and you know, it's They're fun.
Yeah, it's super cool. If you go to heroespodcast.com, click on the store link, it'll take you straight there. There's designs for every podcast on the network, and there's a bunch of different things that you can get for that. There's going to be different sales throughout December, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, we do this live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central at twitch.tv/.
No, it's 2 hours.
Heroes Podcast. It's usually an hour and 15.
Can I insert one thing for anybody who has been viewing on Twitch? That cup right there, it's empty. And it's been bothering me the whole time.
He drank it all.
He's just pretending to have a drink.
I pulled a Letterman.
Is that that's our post-credit stinger right there.
Oh, God.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for us this week. Thank you to everybody who voted.
Thank
Yes.
you to
Yes.
everybody who joined us tonight, both on Twitch and at our table. Thank you all you other wonderful hosts.
You're welcome.
Word. You had to be here no matter what.
Whatever. Derek fired me.
All right, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.